So, welcome back, Matt. Welcome back, Evan. We're back for the second part, the unplanned second part of the update.
Doesn't end.
It was a pretty big one, as we saw last night. We did just over 2 hours to go through all of the Warmachine and the few generic updates. But yeah, we're talking about the big Warmachine Hordes dynamic update, and we're focusing tonight on the Horde side that we haven't looked at yet. And I've not super looked at it in detail at all, to be fair. So some of my my takes are going to be full on in. And Luke's joined us on Twitch. Hi, buddy. Oh, he's here for the Legion love. So hopefully there's I think Legion have come out all right, but we'll see. But we're going to dive in. So obviously.
I think you can get a Legion hoorah, Luke. It's looking good.
not a bad place here. So we're joined again, obviously Evan as usual, and Matt, who's the Welsh our Welsh captain, and who had a great time last night talking about how good K2 on Melloth are now. Obviously Evan, you're Legion as far as like the Horde side, and I'm Grimkin. So I know one of us is the winner.
I'm Legion Circle and Grimkin. So
right. So
I've got a nice high low high sort of vibe going.
yeah. You're not living the hard life, that's for sure. Some of us have got less out of the update than others, but it's okay.
I bought Circle. There's only so much sympathy I ever get in life now.
Circle, yes. You've got Circle and Infernals. Yeah, you're.
Well, Infernals have highs and lows, but Circle Christmas never ends. That's just the rule.
I think your universal karma meter is pretty empty.
Crick's all of Mark II. You're not wrong.
Yeah, right. So for your sins, we're gonna dive in with Trollbloods, just straight into the document. If you're interested in the Warmachine stuff, check it out. It's already up on YouTube, and the podcast version is on like Anchor, Spotify, iTunes, the podcast updates, stuff like that. Basically, wherever there's podcasts, you're likely to be able to find it. Just search for Chaos Spawn or Chaos Machine or whatever I've put in. And you can see us talk all about the updates for the Warmachine factions, and tonight you'll see us doing the same for Hordes. Trollbloods like ended up right before this hits in what we thought was a really strong position. I think that's fair to say. They were like probably the best that Trolls have been for a very long time.
For the first time in ages, Trollbloods were sitting, if not S tier, then the borderline SA tier.
Yeah,
like Trollblood, and nobody would believe you saying that a year ago.
The Trolls are smashing the meta, and the only thing that was getting in their way, or the main thing that was getting in their way, was Death Archons, who obviously have had a hit. So,
and Infernals, because Infernals.
Yeah, but that was everyone.
Yes.
So we're going to do a similar style to what we did yesterday. We're going to look through each faction. We're not going to weigh ourselves down with all the points cost changes. There's a lot of them. Yeah. If you want to have a look at the notes are freely available for the updates. So it's mainly picking out what we think is particularly impactful. So some of them will be points costs, where something's gone down by 3 to 5 points.
That matter, basically.
Yeah. Things that matter rather than like a bit of addition and subtraction. It all adds up. But so
it does. But a Trollkin sorcerer at 1 point cheaper, I'm not going to care about for an example.
Yeah, I can see that.
Just.
So how do you think about how do you feel about Trolls, Matt? What's your? Not sure who's been playing in your meta.
The last time I played into Trolls was probably at the WTC.
Yeah, so it's a good while back. There's
not many troll players around.
Because obviously we've got out of the Welsh players, Byron was always like the troll champion. He's been out of the scene a little bit. He's like starting now. Obviously, things starting to open up again. Hopefully, he'll be back. And you got Stu. I don't know if he's been more enamoured by the Signar changes than the trolls. But he was asking about troll stuff and Booby earlier, so Maybe but Boomy goes in Signar as much as he goes in Trolls, I guess. So.
I know. Actually, I think I played him at the VTC, and the guy I played left all of his champions and his stones within single thresher range of Midnight Archon.
Oh, that's very nice of them.
I mean, that was generous.
Did you bribe them?
I don't know what else to say.
That was very generous of him.
It's considerate, really.
Yeah.
Interesting tactical choice.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I've noticed Gunbjorn 2 has gone back to blast damage.
That's a big one.
This is one of the ones we saw kind of spoiled beforehand.
It gives you a couple of tactical options against him. So let's be clear, a lot of anything that had force barrier is still going to die. Because when you're armor 12, 11 going to armor 15, 16 isn't going to save you from a power 14. It just makes no difference. The big thing, I know there are 1 or 2 rules that still do ignore blasts. They're few and far between.
Yeah.
Gridded's one of the few.
Girded, yeah. Girded. IR.
Yeah.
As in gird your loins, yeah. And trenches are a big one. So if there are trenches on the table, they're actually still useful.
Yeah, they've been a lot better than they used to be against Gunny. But generally, I think his feats changed, but mostly it's changed, and then things have changed around it to essentially keep it mainly just as strong.
Yeah.
I'd say.
So his list definitely got a little bit weaker. The strongest version of his list, which I say that. There were 2 versions of it running around. There was the all the guns all the time, which I don't think was the strongest version of the list. It wasn't too hard to kind of pick your moments and bully that off scenario.
Yeah.
As long as you could do something to weather the shooting a bit.
And it was very dice dependent, right? If your dice were with you, then you could weather it and you'd be okay. If their dice were with them,
exactly.
But
the version that was much stronger was the one with champions.
Yes,
and the change to hoof it has been a big hit to that.
Yeah. We'll get to that in a second. I think obviously we'll go over. We've kind of gone over Boomy 3 yesterday, right? In Mercs.
We went over Boomy 3 like a couple of weeks ago when the first announcement came out.
So obviously, so the hoof it not allowing to hoof it if you've ran or if you failed the charge, it's going to be significant how far up the board things like the champs get.
You're not getting champs 15 inches up the board on turn 1.
And then, like I said, the matchup changes like a little bit. I know for me, for like as an Aurora player, I guess the Angels will still all just die, but my Flying Jacks are a lot better off. So the Tesselators and the heavies, because rather than it being a whatever their power was, it's just damage. Now it's actually blast damage. So
it's a dice of 4 because you're getting
So my nomads and things like that will be riding like armor 23 versus the blast damage. So it's like, well, okay, that makes actually a difference.
And the other big thing he lost was -2 range on the barrage team.
Yeah, I think they still threaten very far though. As
they still do. They still threaten, I think, 12 inches, but they were like 14. Like they've lost 2 inches of threat. It's just that little bit less oppressive.
Significant enough. Yeah. So we've seen Boomy already. So how else are the other casters looking? So Borka's. Has Borka particularly changed? I'm looking at
I haven't seen anything particularly exciting around there. Like Horgle got a bit of an update.
I've seen something exciting based on our talk yesterday. Is Calandra gets discombobulate?
Oh yeah, no, fair enough. Calandra, that's good.
And obviously can bring like units of highwaymen who have backstab. Is it backstab or is it called something different? But it's essentially
really?
backstab. Yeah,
okay, that's big.
Yeah, Trollkin highwaymen like to shoot you in the ass.
Oh wow! Okay, that's exciting.
So Calandra,
I'll give that.
Good for old Calandra because she was hit by the Fiona nerf to Fuddle because she had Befuddle as well.
And the other thing is all the dire trolls got a moderate point decrease. Like a couple of them got some pretty big points decreases, like 2 points off a brawler is big.
Yeah.
Or for Blitzer, I don't know if the Blitzer will get into play. It's 13 points, but it's definitely a consideration.
Yeah, well, and the biggest reductions have been for the kings. So the Sea King went down by 4 points.
Yeah.
So he's 32.
That's big.
Mountain King by 3 points to 33, and the Glacier King by 3 points to 32. So they're 32, 32, and 33 for the kings, which is very nice. Like I'd be making sure that the one fits in. And
I know a mate of mine keeps talking about Ragnar right now.
Yeah.
Did he change at all?
Ragnar changed he got basically like a rework in the troll update, didn't he?
Okay, so nothing here. Okay.
So I'm looking at War Room at the Highwaymen, and I swear blind they had something like backstab. Maybe it's maybe it's like a hero that goes with them that gives it to them. So I'll have a little nose through that. Is it Braylon? Yes, there you go. Yeah. Braylon
Wanderheart
gives Trollkin Highwayman backstab. Yeah, so yeah, very respectable all of a sudden.
That is very respectable.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool for Calandra. I know, like, she's been obviously hit by the, like you said, the nerf to Fiona and Befuddle, but she's now got quite a nice bunch of abilities. So between Star-Crossed, Bullet Dodger.
And she picked up she's the first one to have picked up the Soothing Song change.
Yeah.
So basically, every caster that had Soothing Song is getting an extra spell to replace it, and losing Soothing Song and gaining it as an ability.
Yep.
And it's worth pointing out here, because we were, when we were talking about the rumored change here, we were very nervous that they'd screw this up.
Shit.
They did not fuck it up.
Yeah.
Soothing Song has been done right.
Yeah.
It's any time during your activation phase, which means you don't have order of activation problems to use Soothing Song. That is fantastic.
Yeah,
well done,
it's
folks.
really, really good. That's been needed for a long time, I think, because anyone that's had this on their card is basically just been dead space. Now it's very useful. And
it's been dead space that they wished they could use because it looks so appealing, and with order of activation issues, it was just pointless.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, Lilith 2 is going to sit there now, unload all the beasts, and be able to actually rein in some of the fury.
Lily 2 is going to be an interesting discussion when we get back to Legion. Yeah.
So let's have a quick check for us. We've got Gunny 1. His Field Marshal becomes Field Marshal Kill Shot and Gunfighter. So if you kill a model in melee, you get to make a shot, and you've got Gunfighter. So that's legit.
That's solid.
Especially things like the Pyre Troll, and the Kings. Obviously, all of the Troll King models have got a ranged attack. So is it the
Grimmy gaining Witch Mark on his axe is pretty solid.
Yes. Yeah.
Not his axe, on his little sniper rifle.
Yeah, that's very nice.
That's really solid.
Apart from that, obviously we saw the change to Hoofit that affects Gristle. What else is particularly important? I guess Jarl's change is quite nice. So Jarl,
what happened to Jarl? He gained synergistic magic.
Yeah. So Jarl has been a bit of a dark horse caster, where he's had a bunch of abilities, but never quite been good enough. And then if he gets synergistic magic and actually gets to make use of it,
is Jarl the one?
He's the
what
guy
does
that puts
Jarl
down
have?
The clouds. So he's got
that's what I was thinking.
So he's got 2 range 12 rune pistols, with Black Penny. So he's got he's got some abilities to be able to trigger it himself.
Is he the one with Magic Bullet?
And he's got Magic Bullet.
Yeah. I love Magic Bullet as a spell, although I don't know how useful it is nowadays. We're not seeing enough fragile support solos that are worth hunting. My biggest problem with Jarl is still there's way too much eyeless sight and true sight in the game for his feat to matter.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. The clouds are less, but at the same time, like I've been enjoying having decent success with King of Nothing again, because even though there's like X amount more of Isle of Sight and True Sight, it's not everywhere. That's for sure.
Well,
if you can protect a few things.
Well, I was about to say the big thing is the King of Nothing sticks that down, and even if you've got Isle of Sight, you've got a -2 to hit. But yeah, it looks like Jarl's Feet does the same thing. So okay, maybe Jarl comes back. Fair enough.
It's the same cloud Zakova has every turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's his feat once, and he's got 2 guns, and he's got magic bullet.
2 power 12 guns, a magic bullet. It's like, it's not bad. Obviously,
he's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, you get some work done. Nightzao, hello over on Twitch, and Stu, who's a follower as well. Hello. So we're just talking about trolls at the start, and yeah, I think the rest of the stuff we've seen is fairly on par. You know, it's minor adjustments here and there, 2 points here, 1 point there. Rock obviously gets the new version of Primal, so it doesn't force the frenzy anymore. It's just a +1 strength and map for a round. And the Mountain King swaps Rage for Primal, and also gets the new like quality of life change for the whelps, which is really nice. So the whole being able to put them 2 inches out, I'm just really like, yeah. The Mountain King has got a very, very tasty, I think, like ability to block landing spots, things like that. Even in Will as well.
The new whelp ability, the new whelp with 1-inch placement is going to mess with people's lives quite significantly.
Yeah. And then let's have a little quick nose through the solos and the units. So the Highwayman that I've talked about for Calandra, just get a point down. 1-1, and where is he? Braylon goes down by 2 points. So yeah, seems very very worth it. Hi Gav, mate, nice of you to come and join us and follow. Gav's one of our locals. But yeah, I think the majority of the rest of the stuff, right, are little just like
Sluggers gained something
changes.
Interesting.
Was that Sluggers? Oh, they have.
Really interesting.
So Trollkin Sluggers have gained a command and gained Overwatch as an order, which is affected models forfeit their combat action, this activation. Choose a model in this unit anytime during this unit's activation. Place a wall template completely within the chosen model's command and line of sight, ignoring intermediate models. Model entering or entering activation, the template suffers a damage roll equal to 8 plus the number of models in this unit. So essentially, it's a covering fire.
It's covering fire, but you can enter it, but I don't think you can end your movement on it if it's a wall template. And if that's the case, you can do some really nasty things. I'd need clarification there. Like, if you can land on it, then it's just annoying. Yeah. But if you can't land on it, you can do some really cool denial tricks with that.
Essentially, if it's like King of Nothing's Firewall, then it's a lot less efficient and a lot less effective than Sirenia's Rock Wall. Thanks for the subscribe, buddy. It's appreciated. Thanks for the support. And what else? Obviously, we've seen things like the Barrage team going down a bit. We've seen the Caber Throwers, right? If you've not seen the Caber Throwers,
that's part of this update.
Yeah,
just what's lyrical about them. Like, I know we've talked about them before, but goddamn.
Yeah, so. Can you only take Caber Throwers with the Creel Warriors?
Yeah, you have to take Creel Warriors. They're an attachment. It's fine. Take a unit of Creel Warriors and take max Caber Throwers.
Yeah. So the Creel Warriors, I think they've not gone down. Yeah, they've just got up in by 1 power. Haven't gone down in points, but they're fairly cheap unit. But basically, you take Caber Throwers and then. It's the Caber Thrower themselves has Carapace, and they have mobile cover and easy target. So easy target is with turning line of sight, other models ignore intermediate models with equal base size. So basically, because they're carrying this humongous Caber,
So it's basically a tree trunk.
Yeah, basically it's
a log.
They're slinging Scottish logs in the Highland Games. But the thing that makes it ridiculous, quite frankly, and is a huge buff for Trollcasters and just Troll lists, is mobile cover, which is they get Carapace and friendly models of an equal or smaller base gain Carapace within 2 inches. And it's like
just within, not even behind, like just within.
Just within 2. So they're a medium base. So basically, you don't get Carapace on your heavies and on your
for small mercies.
But your light beasts and your champions and your caster can all very, very, very easily.
Can you ever tell the difference between a Trollkin warrior and a Trollkin bloody light war beast on the table?
Only because I've played them that many times, but
it throws me every goddamn time.
Yeah, you're like, who's that solo? And they're like, oh, it's an Axa, it's a beast, and you're like, oh. Okay.
No, but there's a unit of like single wound, whatever, like Fen Blades, and I shoot one off to the side. It's like, no, that's not a Fen Blade. It's not there. That's not one box.
That guy's got 28 boxes.
That's a light war beast.
And now he's got Carapace. Now he's got Carapace to boot. Like, fuck me, Carapace.
Good is when someone shot off Inissa Stonetide thinking that she was Gristle 1.
Yes. Just killed a troll that makes walls.
I won the game.
Isn't very good anymore. So I think that's going to basically mean that trolls just on tap have an answer to guns. They could just go. We'll just take one of our lists has a unit of Kree warriors, has the 3 caber throwers, and they just spread out behind your champions or wherever. So maybe you'll hit them, but what are they? So they're armor 15. So they're only armor 19 versus guns, but then they're obviously they're 21 because there'll be a stone. So there'll be at least armor 21 without taking any other buffs into consideration. That seems okay. Seems okay to me. So that's going to really change how trolls get to play. So it's pretty cool.
I think trolls are going to enjoy that. They've had their favorite bully boy has been toned down a bit, and that's okay.
Yeah,
like they've got some really good toys to play with. I think trolls are going to enjoy this update. Especially with the toning down of Death Archons.
Because that was the thing that just shat all over trolls basically.
Well, especially they're all, their infantry is medium base, and 3-inch versus 2-inch Thresher is a big difference when you're a medium base.
So as an interesting point, in case it comes up, there was a trick, which is I think something we talked about yesterday, right? Of player experience being more powerful than rules at some point.
Yeah.
So if you're fighting off against Death Archons when they had 3-inch reach, you basically just make a wall base to base of your infantry because they don't have an actual Thresher attack. So their attack isn't quite Thresher, which means it doesn't break through the front line, so they can only hit the front line until they remove them. Which means your back line of wherever, say, champs, can never be made stationary by them.
That's sneaky. Okay.
Yeah. So there was some sort of counter plays that Troll had options to, but not.
You just have to be able to throw away that many models to do it.
Yeah.
And just roll tough, right?
That's all.
Just roll some tough rolls. I think trolls though, minor buffs to a bunch of casters, quality of life changes, and then obviously a little bit cheaper on the beasts generally. The gargantuans a bunch cheaper. The Hooch Hauler's got 3 points cheaper as well, and the Hooch Hauler's pretty decent, so that's interesting.
Not bad, yeah.
Just some more mind changes, and then the great winner is obviously, as we said, the Caber Thrower, which just elevates the whole faction versus gunlines.
Yeah, it really does.
So fair play. If you're a troll player, I'd be happy with update.
Yeah, if you were just spamming champions, like invest a unit of warriors, because those caber throws are worth it.
Yeah, and like essentially, if you're playing the current like big lists, you'll save some points here and there. If you're playing anything that's got a little bit more flex in it, a bit more of this new stuff, then you'll be gaining a whole heap of points back. So definitely worth looking when you're doing list building. I should say quickly while I remember, if you are doing list building, obviously we're expecting the update on War Room to happen on Monday, but Conflict Chamber is now up to date. So if you're looking to build lists, check out Conflict Chamber. Feel free to. Yeah, there's.
And I've been building and counting how many points back I get in War Room. Okay.
I've been using my fingers.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So thanks to Travis Mark and the group of people that have been helping.
Well done, guys.
I'm not sure exactly who's involved, and obviously to the original Conflict Chamber team behind it as well. So cool. Thank you very much for updating it.
Yeah. So I just had a quick check. Faye says she reckons the Earthborn Diatroll might be the best beast in the game.
The Earthborn?
Yeah.
Really?
Really.
Okay, what did we miss?
We went down to 12 points.
12 points, which is pretty cheap. I'm gonna bring it up. Let's have a quick check.
That's it.
He said the Earthborn Diatrome is potentially the best beast in the game right now.
So
I want whatever Faye's drinking.
so it's just stock immune to cold, acid, cold corrosion, lightning, fire.
I mean, it's always been. It's the elemental troll that's immune to all of that shit.
Yeah.
Earth's Blessing, Communion.
Earth's Blessing is really
Regen, snacking. I'm not seeing it. I'm really not seeing it. It's a power 15 melee beast with 1-inch reach.
But it's
nothing special to
it. There's plenty to boost that power 15.
I mean,
and the armor 18.
But that's the thing. That was always the problem with trolls. Like, they've always got the stuff to boost it, but it's a lot of price to pay in support.
Yeah.
You know what is the Australian mantra? Support is theft.
Yeah.
And you need a lot of support.
Yeah. So still in the Twitch chat saying, you could easily get it to like armor 22, 24. It's legit. If that wall that we've just discussed is an actual wall, that gives him +2 armor just from hanging around behind it.
If it's not, you can still take Janessa, who I think still gives you a wall. Does she now?
No,
she doesn't.
Yeah, she got real mad.
Yeah. I'm thinking back in...
Mercs aren't apparently updated. There's some stuff with Conflict Chamber that they're not quite finished with by the looks of it, but it's definitely a lot better than it was a day ago.
Now I got everyone's hopes up for nothing. Janessa doesn't have a wall anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't. Right, so let's roll away from trolls and into. I know a lot of the guys in chat have been asking, is Legion of Everblight? So.
So there's. Legion.
Go for it.
Legion is both tears and joy. So let's start with the tears. Can we get them out of the way quickly? Bethane didn't. As you know, we were talking about all of these measured, calm, nerfs that are slow, little bits. Yeah, Bethane got none of that. Bethane got nuked from orbit. Bethane got the old style nerf of what the hell, this is just too much. We're beating the hell out of this character. However, and I have to give the design team a bit of a break on this, because we've been discussing this for months. What would you do to fix Beth? And my constant refrain has always been, I don't know how you nerf her without breaking her, but she has to be nerfed. I don't know how you do it right without making her a shelf sitter. I still kind of feel she's become a shelf sitter. So what's happened to Bethane?
Well, let's jump back to Matt, see what he was saying as well first. Go on, Matt. What were you?
Sorry. Yeah, I was saying I'm going to play a song for Beth 2 on the world's smallest violin.
Yeah, I thought that might be the case.
Okay. Yeah, she had it very, very good.
She had it coming. She so had it coming. So, okay, for anyone who hasn't seen it, what's happened to Beth 2? she now generates a couple tokens when she feeds. So she gets 2 on herself, so she can't send those out to a beast or any model. And for every non-light in her own battle group, she gets 2 tokens that she can hand out, all of those at her discretion.
To living models.
To living models. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be to war beasts, but to living models. Yeah. Each one of those tokens can be spent to transfer damage away. So it becomes very limiting in how many models you can try to protect. Maybe you can get away with protecting 1 high value piece and get, say, 6 transfers onto an Archangel or something. But even then, you can't play the aggressive game where you were just shoving something in their face and saying, you can't kill me.
Yeah.
You'll just wear through it. There won't be enough tokens. And if you're trying to protect more than 1 piece, you'll probably find they all just die. It just takes a little bit more work. And then the damage you've done is still persistent on the rest of your army. So I'm not really seeing how her feat is particularly useful. She's still not like a complete bench warmer.
Still makes you immune to knockdown and stationary while you've got a flash web token.
Only while you have her. If you spend your last one, you can be knocked down or stationary. She's still got a +4 damage swing. She's still got great, spell slinging through beasts that are engaged. It's not like she's terrible. But I think she gets knocked off.
She's not the very top.
She's definitely knocked off the top shelf. You can never completely ignore a caster with a 4-point damage swing every turn. You just can't.
No, you can't.
But her feat is really is pretty lackluster now. So that's quite sadness. That's really all the sadness in Legion. Everything else is just throw a party.
Just crazy.
So the Iron Flesh is kind of standard. Cullis 1, who I've never given a shit about and still don't, but is a very relevant caster to worry about. Gains Angelic Sacrifice. This is interesting. So he spawns all of these incubi, and he can then sacrifice incubi to reduce spell costs. Which is a really interesting little addition to him. I don't feel like Cullis 1 needed help. He did what he did well, but okay, nice to see. And then
the thing is as well is it's not limited to part of its feat. So if you play Callus, you could just take a unit of incubi to replace when your whatever die, your hex hunters or what have you, and then you've obviously got it on the feat where you expect to make obviously a lot more, but he's pretty,
it's turn after turn.
Yeah, but he's pretty beefy. If he's got enough incubi to sacrifice, and he might only be Fury 6, but that could be 6 eruptions, so he could be charging something, and then throwing 6 power 14s before you add anything into the mix.
I mean, not really. It's just reducing a cost by 1 per incubus. You're not going to live the dream that far.
Do you think
that's good? That's pushing it.
Maybe.
But it does mean you can cast Dark Guidance and do something else.
Yes, it means you can cast Dark Guidance and do something else, and that's honestly really cool.
And obviously, it makes complaints. He's often the weak link as well. Whereas if he casts Dark Guidance, he's got Ignite up. You can't cycle it. He's basically just got to hold on and hope he survives. And it's just.
That was typically his thing.
Yeah.
Upkeep Ignite, cast Dark Guidance, and that's it. That was his game.
Yeah.
And he might be able to do something else now. So that's actually quite cool. That just makes him more interesting. Lilith 1 gaining synergistic magic is really interesting.
Cool. I quite like Lilith 1.
She's Fury 5 and it's always been a big problem.
Yeah.
And synergistic magic, if there's something for her to pot off, that goes a long way to helping her out.
You bet, yeah, absolutely.
Especially her big thing is to try to cast Parasite. And casting a 3-cost upkeep when you're at 7 and you probably want to spend 1 to boost a hit as well, that's a big ask. So it's a nice little buff to help her actually do one of the very few things that she does. So I like it. I don't know if that's going to put her on the table, but it'll make her a lot more interesting when you play her in kind of low stakes friendlies.
Yeah, and I think it gives her like the option to do what she really wants to do, where you get to like a shining point where she's upkeeping Parasite on something, and then has enough focus still for Fury either to cycle it to something midway through the turn.
Yeah.
And obviously, synergistic magic means that that's not a problem. She can do that and not be sat on 0 Fury.
Like exactly, with her 14 armor.
Mortal danger. Instead, she'd be like, "Oh, that's fine. I'm camping a bunch."
Exactly.
Obviously, Lilith 2.
Very interesting. So she's another one to benefit from the soothing song, and that's a really big deal because soothing song to now let her beasts go nuts with double shooting, and then after they've double shot, she gets to they can all soothing song out its Fury. And when you consider just how strapped for Fury she is, and Legion's Fury management isn't what it used to be, that's a big deal.
And she's gained Vanish as well. So she gained Vanish, which is really interesting. Like she could put some serious hurt down.
It's a threat extender for her or a safety extender. Like here's a caster that's got with shooting and snapfire. You've got a nice 4-inch, or on a feet turn 6-inch. 6 times you can move around 2 inches. And then just for shits and giggles, if she needs it, she's got another 3-inch teleport with Vanish. I think she could see some play.
Yeah, I often found like that just a couple of bad dice on her feet turn would leave her in the open, where you'd be getting you'd either get loads of work done, or you'd have to be very reserved. And I think Vanish lets her do both, so it lets her take the risk. Yeah. And then still be able to come back to you. She's not reliant on the move in Snapfire to get out of an area. If she can go forward.
My biggest hassle with her is which theme. Which theme do you play her in? Ravens is really tempting with the mark target on the lessers. Really tempting. And the other option is I just love Azrael with her. Like Azrael can range solo a heavy with Lilith. Like so. It is. Yeah, you feat. He's got 3 shots. He can boost all the damage rolls. That's power 17 damage rolls. If Lilith sticks pincushion on, he solos a heavy.
Yeah,
it's not even debatable. It's hideous. It's 3 boosted 7. What's the name? Science important power 17s. Yeah. It's really hectic. So it's a tough call, and it's one of the few places where I do like Azrael.
What about Zuriel's market worth with her? So he's got the options.
I don't think he's. No, Zuriel doesn't have a whole lot of play with her.
Do you not think? Like the power of multiple sprays.
If you're going to go spray heavy, just take Typhon and be done with. Yeah. And the problem is you can only afford so many character beasts. If you're going to play in, Children of the Dragon, you probably want to take Azrael with her. It's just such a good synergy.
Yeah.
That's already an expensive beast, and if you're then you then have to choose Zuriel or Typhon. You can't afford both.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay.
Not in the list. So I think Zuriel gets pushed out. And then I think Zuriel's playing a lot of other places. Like, don't feel sorry for Zuriel. Yeah. Zuriel's got a lot of play, like in much stronger lists.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And then we've got obviously the twins and the Rias changes we've seen already. So Rias on a road and in twins has got to Fury 6, which is great.
So not what I was hoping for, but I'm still building lists, and I'm going to be playing the twins tomorrow. So
it's a wall.
I can't help myself.
So the feat change is a wall of text. Does it do what we expected, which basically stops you from RFing?
It's a wall of text, and all the wall of text is yes, RFPing the twins doesn't stop you bringing them back.
Yeah, which is really good.
That's it. Stop trying to pass text. That's all it does.
yeah. The TLDR is you're fine. That's
you're
really
fine. Cool. RFP doesn't stop you. Go nuts.
Yeah, big change there. And Thagros
it's
1's
really
feet
nice.
is another nice change.
So both Thagros 1 and Seren 1 got some really big quality of life buffs. Okay, you mentioned Thagros. Let's start with him.
So Thagros now doesn't have to sacrifice the activation for a War Beast.
Yes.
So
you choose.
It can't be forced except to cast its Animus, but you can place it within 3 inches. But it still means that you can charge in or be wherever he wants, summon back Typhon or Proteus or whatever. And just
Typhon can spray 3 times.
Go to town
because
with its
why
initials. You've got the added assassination threat where Thagros mutagenesises into something, goes to town, buys all his attacks, then feats back whichever heavy into melee with the caster he's trying to kill.
I thought you had to sacrifice one or the other, but you can actually walk.
Yeah,
walk. You just can't.
Man.
Yeah.
So you can charge. You can walk up with the old Thags, feet, and then walk further with Typhon, who you've just feated back.
Yeah.
This is hectic.
You bring
Sorry?
along, you've got the free charge.
Oh God, you can charge too. You're 100% right.
Yep. If you're not forced. If you're.
Thags 1 just got a. Oh, Thags 1 got a big lease on life.
Yeah, it's really nice. Like the mutagenesis assassination was always a bit of a cheeky, can you, can't you? But there's nothing to stop. Like if your game is looking bad, or you're like in a bad matchup, like we were when we were playing in Sherwood, and you go, Thags is at the top, at the front of your army, tanking the world, and you go, Thags can charge this far, drop a heavy down, which then threatens dismount. And you suddenly go, do I just turn round with half my army, kill my own Typhon,
and charge
myself, charge Thagros forward, feed Typhon back that far forward, stick full tilt on him, and let him go into the enemy caster, and maybe, or just walk round into the back arc.
You know what you do, because the problem is accuracy for hitting casters. What you do is you do that to a Scythian, which has 2 inches of reach, and the Scythian's got Murderous, so it's got an extra dice to hit hit the caster.
Or you bring Proteus and you use Crawling Chaos, and you go, it's fine. I'm now hitting all of my attacks.
Yeah,
let's go.
Yeah, I think Thags 1 just gained a whole lot of cachet.
I think it's a huge buff that doesn't, on paper, doesn't look as much as it is until you sit down and you understand. You go through the levels of it and go,
this is real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Terry plays a lot of Thags 1.
Yeah,
because he double stacks the Death Aura with Unyielding from Children.
Yeah. Terry's in the chat and saying, you can charge with full steam and the Scythian or Proteus. You're basically looking at effective mat 11 onto whatever they're landing on, and obviously they've got a bunch of attacks. So that could if someone misplays and leaves their caster a little bit too far forward, that could be Thags is just
stuff it. I'm throwing. I think a Thags 1 list would be silly nowadays not to bring a Scythian. The Scythian has a place here. It's so good when your feated back beast can't what's it called? Doesn't actually have can't boost to hit.
Yeah.
And is suddenly benefiting from Murderous. Yeah, I think a Scythian's got place here.
Very, very
it's
tasty.
Really strong.
So let's jump on to Seren.
And Seren. So Seren, it's a small quality of life upgrade, and I don't think it gets her kind of onto the table, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. So, I couldn't give a shit about her weapons going up in power. I really couldn't give a shit. They're still crap weapons.
They're important that they give grievous wounds, so it's her
little daggers. I mean, big deal. she's a spell slinger that's meant to hang back. Her spell list is still a bit naff, but a nice upgrade she got. She traded in what's it called? Banishing Ward for Arcane Ward, and that basically means your Banishing Ward, which was just no spells on me, mean now no spells on me, and I've got +2 armor. That's a massive upgrade.
Does it give you the spell immunity still?
Yeah, Arcane Ward.
Spells, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same spell Krios 3 has.
Yeah.
Yeah,
nice.
Exactly.
Very nice.
Arcane Ward is just a better Banishing Ward, like much better.
I'm not sure it's enough to see her everywhere. Like it's.
She still struggles that she doesn't actually do enough.
Yeah.
She does nothing for the effectiveness of Legion War Beasts. She doesn't do anything for units, and her denial stuff is very easy to play around.
Isn't as powerful as could be.
Yeah, so I still don't really see her getting space on the table, but it's a step in the right direction.
What do you think about Vale 1? And in the chat as well, because there's a bunch of Legion players. Is Command 12 enough that Vale can go up inside and not die? Basically,
I think it's enough. I think it's enough to tempt good Legion players into it and getting knocked just out of the podium in the last game because it's not good enough. I think it's good enough to carry you to 6-4. I don't think it's good enough to carry you to 5-1 or 6-0.
Fair. I think I've wanted Vale to be like what she used to be for so long.
So as have I. I really have.
I'm surprised. I think this is where I think they've missed the trick. I think
apparently I'm wrong. Arcane Ward is defense, not armor. Either way, it's still great.
Yeah, I think they basically needed to look at Vale and just go do exactly the same as Beth 1 and go, there's that part of your feet back, you can move, and then she's suddenly way more playable.
I mean, she's already so much weaker than her Mark II version that was so strong. You know, losing Rampager was a massive hit to her. And the leash nerf from Mark II to Mark III, those two were already such big nerfs. She can get back her old feet. Like, come on, Faye, you heard it here first. Make Vale great again. Come on.
And I think even with her old feet, I don't think she becomes like an A-tier caster. I think she just sees the table more, or sees the table.
I think no. Like, she becomes an A-tier caster then. Think? She really, insight is big. Insight is really big.
But so it's the one turn. Is it enough? Maybe a low A.
After you've had a big turn, you can keep her safe with insight and just sandpaper without her dying.
You just take off whatever's coming to you, I guess.
You only need one turn of really making it stick.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
So, I think she goes to A tier without her old two tricks of Rampager and friends. She's not S tier, but
as she is, D maybe.
Maybe.
A generous D, but never mind. Never mind, Vale.
You know what? She might be a C. Like I say, it's interesting enough that it will tempt good Legion players to lose tournaments.
I know Luke's been like putting her through the ring, trying different options for months. So he'll probably just do that some more and then go on to a better caster. We'll see Vale. Right. We'll see Vale again. Basically, in the next update.
I'm not going to pretend to have that discipline. I mean, I see my favorite caster gets a buff. I have to play them, even if I know it's not enough. I fully get that.
Yeah, I love my dogs, but if they have a shit on the floor, it goes straight in the bin. I don't play around with it. And this is
you ruthless bastard.
So let's have a look at the rest of the faction.
The rest of it. So, like most of the stuff, a couple of points changes. Interesting that most of the heavies.
That's so nice.
So, I mean, honestly, that was needed. The Blightbringer has always been a relatively poor gargantuan.
Yeah, it's the support gargantuan. I think.
It's just it really needs Rate of Fire 2, to be honest. It doesn't have it. So yeah, 30 points, fair enough. I can understand that. Yeah. But all of the heavies, like, or at least all of the, all of the Carney chassis heavies got a 2-point drop. That's really significant.
Carney Ravgor, and Scythian.
Carney Ravgor, Scythian.
2 points.
Like, those are all really tempting.
Proteus, who's the character for that, Jack, has got a 1 point, so he's down to 17.
Yeah.
And Crawling Chaos.
I mean, I've never cared about Proteus.
Well, Crawling Chaos is now 1 inch rather than base to base, so it might actually.
Yeah.
Might actually be
if you're sending in a 17-point heavy, you want it to kill things. You're not going to spend Fury for it to lock something in place.
Yeah.
That's just not going to happen.
I'm a bit surprised that GoLab went down, because I see GoLab.
I've seen GoLab a lot.
Real good.
And GoLab going down was a bit of a shock to me.
Yeah.
I have to say. That caught me out quite a bit.
Yeah.
I don't care about the Blight Wasp. I'm a bit disappointed that the Seraph only got a 1-point decrease. That could have definitely used something more aggressive.
Yeah, maybe another point and just a flat rate of fire 2. Nonetheless,
Typhon got a 2-point decrease.
Yeah,
I'd take that. And Zuriel, who's been a staple of Legion lists lately, got a 1-point decrease.
All very nice.
Like Legion got a lot of, and keep in mind that most of these Legion beasts in the last year have already had like a 2 or 3 point decrease.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see that, like, just how grossly overpriced Legion beasts were has now been addressed.
Yeah.
Like, this to me is a great thing to see. I'm very happy with this. It really does open up a lot of list building.
Yeah. That's kind of cool.
I think a lot of beasts went down.
A lot of them went down 1, which is okay. So like the flying beasts typically went down 1. The Archangel didn't get any buff. I missed the trick, by the way. I actually didn't want to go through this list like this. I really wanted to just troll Paul Sheard a little bit, and just go through every buff here, like, really slowly and sensuously. You know, like, GoLab, what is that? What are you doing there? What are you doing there, GoLab? Oh no, don't do that, GoLab. Oh god, don't take it off. Is that a point you've dropped? And you dropped it on the floor, you dirty bird. Oh my goodness, another point. Oh, GoLab, no, you shouldn't have. I can go on forever, but basically, yeah, we should have been doing this for an hour just to troll Paul.
So if you check out Evan's OnlyFans, that's his update this weekend. Is Legion of Everblight sensuous fanfic porn.
although one sensual upgrade is the Ravagor is Mat 6.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yes, yeah. I do like that. Maybe I've been touched in the naughty place too often by shield guards in the last couple of years. So I'm still not all that keen on the Ravagor.
Nice to have other options for it.
I mean, in isolation, I look at that and it's really good. I don't know. I mean, have shield guards gone out of the meta enough for that to be worthwhile?
I think it's more that if the fight closes to you, then you've got a more reliable beast, so you don't have to have another heavy that you're always holding back for that role. Instead, if you've got a pair of
that always used to be why I played. I loved playing a Ravagor with Veil 1.
Yeah.
In fact, JVM used to run 2 Ravagors with Veil 1 and it was devastating. So yeah, I fully get that. I don't think his gun, which is the main reason you're bringing him, is relevant enough. But maybe I'm wrong.
We'll see though, right? As things start
with
to hit the table.
The Lilith 2 being more viable nowadays, maybe I'm not giving that enough credit.
How much
and it's definitely a welcome buff.
Down to 14, yeah. Maybe Lilith 2 Ravagor gun lines becomes a thing again.
Double Ravagor, double Nef Bolty, and the Bolty's also down and the Bolty's down 2 points, and 2 points from 11 to 9 is actually really significant.
Yeah,
so suddenly, I think I mean, it's not my style of game. Like, I hate Lilith too, but I think she's definitely got game that it's worth people playing around with her.
Yeah.
It's not going to be me. I'd rather cut my own arm off.
Yeah, I used to play that. So you used to be the Crix player in Mark II. I used to be the 2 player in Mark II. So
right,
it's fine.
I bought Lilith 2 for one reason. I bought Lilith 2 because for 3 months our press ganger was beating me like a redheaded stepchild every week with Ron. Oh. It was the only way I could stop him.
Fair. Nice bit of stealth. So the rest of the stuff, obviously we saw the Blight Archon has gone up by points.
Yeah.
There's a couple of like quality of life stuff
really likely.
Where like the Shepherd now has cower, so it's got blast resistance. It just needs to
the solo's got some surprising quality of life increase. The Shepherd really and the Forsaken.
Yes, the Forsaken now has got Resolute Rage, so it gains an armor point for every Fury point on it, so it can hold up to 5, right? So if you're stacking your Forsaken to actually go in and either explode or just unleash all its attacks on something, then it goes from 14 to 19 armor, which is like not bad. So yeah, makes it here's a really interesting one. Ice Witches went down 2 points to 5. That means they're the same points, handing out 3 rerolls as Isilla, who hands out 1. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's a really interesting one. Ice Witches became
really good.
It's only really that Isilla is a requisition choice and Ice Witches aren't that might keep Isilla in the game. Like,
I think she's decent still. She can do the double.
She's also bringing Shatterstorm, which is big. So it's not like Isilla's bad, but if you primarily want the rerolls, like go Ice Witches. You're getting 3 of them.
And then the other big changes are the Raptors and the Blightblades are both gone. Oh, and the Rotwings have all gone down by 3 points. So
I don't think Blightblades don't get enough work done. They're just not strong enough. Their power's too low. Even at 7 points, I'm not really impressed.
Points maybe will tempt them onto the table for some lists.
Maybe
where you really want to try and use the ambush to force someone into the middle.
Yeah. Rotwings are genuinely actually tempting. I just couldn't be asked to buy them. But 9 points for 10 bodies. Hey man, 9 points for 10 bodies. Like that's a really good buy if you're playing Colors 1.
Yeah.
That's really good. And I'm going to be testing out Raptors. Like at 15 points for 5. That's pretty good, man.
And Nissa's not changed, though, is she? No, she's not changed at all.
No, I'm still not going to waste my time with Nissa. She needs a lot of help.
So, Legion, I think another.
I think Legion are in a good place. Like their strongest caster got nerfed.
Yeah,
as well she should have.
You've thrown Beth 2 on the sacrificial pyre, and Everblight is blessed basically the rest of the faction.
We've got a whole faction back in response.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Sweet, keep Beth.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that. Yeah, you've still got a lot of good choices, some really nice new additions. So yeah, I'd be happy as a Legion player. You've got a lot more options.
Legion smiling all the way.
And like what Legion list doesn't have isn't mainly full of beasts. So you're just basically guaranteed to get a bunch of points back on every list, pretty much.
Well, I mean, the only beast you were seeing was the Archangel because Legion beasts were just badly overpriced. So now we're going to see some more Legion beasts. So yeah,
and make well the most done. Out of the money.
Job's good.
So on to what I think is probably the winner overall of the entire update. Is
every time we go to an update on Circle, I can't help laughing. It's
I don't know who plays Circle at Privateer Press, like amongst their in-house testing, who is either so genius to just lose all the time, or so bad that the rest of the Circle players just love them.
You know what? It was a bit of it was a charity case. This was one they got for their ESG rating. They hired someone who clearly has mental problems, and that does this circle playtesting. It's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, there's just this weird thing. I think it's an in-house job. It's a fix, right? Where like Matt Wilson has got like his fully pro-painted circle army, and away he goes. What can we say? Terry, you didn't miss the Legion solos, but there's not really much to it. The Legion solos were, we said, like the Blight Archon went up by one. The Shepherd and the Forsaken get some nice little like protection buffs with cower for the Shepherd to blast resistance.
What I did miss out on describing, because it's just such an embarrassingly bad choice, and in such a positive tone, it felt weird to highlight. But Striders gained Lure. So Lure is, if you shoot an enemy, your beasts can charge it without being forced. Which, in the faction that has both the Hellion for flying beast and the Mechana Shredder for everything, is the most pointless rule I've ever seen on a unit that's not getting taken anyway.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Yeah, but yeah, I guess it opens up a little bit of like
2-point succubus is interesting. At least I do have to mention that
it leaves you like a little bit of flexibility on list building where you don't feel you have to take a Mechano Shredder. You can take, if you wanted to take Striders anyway, you can take them.
Why would you ever not take a Mechano Shredder? It's dirt cheap. It's
if you love Striders.
But even if you love Striders, they're not giving you the speed buff that you get out of the Mechano Shredder. Just take the Mechano Shredder.
This is also true.
The only reason to not take the Mechano Shredder is to make Paul happy, and no one wants to do that. Come on.
Yeah, or if you run out of clockwork pieces to stick onto your actual Shredder model. So,
I never thought of it. I need to pull apart an old-timey watch and just convert
I've got so many Shredders. I've not played Legion for like 4 years, and I've still got 10.
8 Shredders. I must do this.
I've still got like 10 Shredders. Yeah, you just buy like a little clockwork key, just glue it on the back.
Yeah.
Job done. Yeah.
You go down to B&Q and you buy one of those radiator keys.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, I'm
that's
what can I say? I'm a tight Welshman. You know, do I buy a Mechano Shredder or do I pay 5p or do I go in my dad's like toolbox when I visit and go, oh, that'll do. There you go. Anyway,
like the people who went into the garden to make their shifting stones.
Yeah. I shouldn't complain. The models I showed you earlier are covered in slate, which is direct from my garden path. But Circle Orboros. Absolutely fucking Christmas time. They are the unmitigated winners of this update.
I don't know if they're the unmitigated winners, but they just never stop winning.
Right, yeah, okay. I think I'd have to really bite like my thumb or something to not say that they weren't like at the top. Obviously, we've seen a bunch of factions have done really well. But Circle have just jizzed all over whatever else has got.
I mean, Circle's best thing is Kruger Zero, which isn't honestly in this update.
Yeah. So let's have a look, boys. Let's go through it. Right. So casters, obviously, we've got minor changes like Solid Ground that we've seen.
Pretty minor.
Bradigus gets an extra point in Fury, and his gun becomes Reload 2. Which is okay. I've actually seen Bradigus like this year, but he's on an old player that's come back, and I think Bradigus has still got some power and is a bit of a dark horse.
He's not bad. There's just way better.
But he's that's the point. He's got like to match up against this ridiculous like level. Kaya having Field Marshal Unyielding, Kaya the Moonhunter. That's pretty nice.
That's solid, hey?
Yeah.
That's really solid.
I know a lot of like the Circle players in like our little international chat group.
Which one is Moonhunter? Is that 2?
What?
I
have 1.
Is it 2 or 3?
I will tell you in a second.
I'm busy looking it up at the same time. Moonhunter is 2. It's Kai the Moonhunter and Laris. That's 2. Because Laris got relegated to a bad pony in number 3.
Yeah. So she basically she already has unyielding, and she's got Dogpile and Shadow Pack and Forced Evolution.
Martial unyielding is a really big deal when you're looking to bring wolves back in the game, and they're looking to bring wolves back in the game.
Yep, we'll get to it.
Great.
For sure.
And that's great because if you're being honest with yourself, you're playing Circle for the werewolves, and werewolves are coming back, baby.
Yeah, which is nice. They've been in the bin for a long time.
They have.
We look at the other Kai. Obviously, she gets Soothing Song and Jumpstart. I'm not sure Jumpstart's like.
I'm not sure that matters. That huge, I really don't.
But Soothing Song's nice.
But Soothing Song is nice. She wants lots of beasts, and she can have fun.
So basically, Kaya 2 doesn't have it, but both other Kayas now have Soothing Song. So Kaya 1 and 3 get it, and is Kaya 3 is the Wild Heart, so she gets Flashing Blade.
That's
right. So yeah, her extra
That's
spell.
Cool.
So she's a synergy caster with Flashing Blade.
Yeah. So if you trigger synergy with your other things, she can actually do some work.
Yeah.
I like it.
How 15? Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yes, like very respectable.
That's really respectable.
Yeah. Let's have a look. There's a couple of like quality life changes. Chromac and
There's the usual Windstorm.
Mosar
got an interesting change.
Yeah.
Mosar, maltreatment is what happened to maltreatment? Is that really, does it matter, or is that just word cleanup? It's just a bit of wording cleanup. Yeah, so that's fine. But Sunhammer's really interesting because Sunhammer got upgraded from D3 to D3 plus 1.
Yeah, that's nice.
But that's pretty solid. Suddenly, if you're facing a Jack list or a what's it called? Oh, and Sunhammer also affects horrors.
Yeah.
That's actually a lot of damage. Over 3 turns of Sunhammer, that's a hell of a lot of damage you do to a battle group heavy army.
Yeah, and
I don't think it's enough to make him playable, but it's interesting.
Let's have a little look. So, Steve's saying maltreatment is now anytime. And it is, so it's anytime. It's in your activation phase. So it doesn't have to be during...
Ooh!
So that's
wow.
That's the important bit.
Oh, that's way better.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Steve.
That's way better. Thank you. That's quite a big catch. Okay. Hello, maltreatment. That's... Because that means you can have the beast just kind of go absolutely nuts, fully fury up, and then pop one off later.
Yeah.
That's really solid. Okay.
Yeah, pretty nice. And what else? And then obviously we know everyone knows about the change to Kruger.
Just a tree.
And Wormwood gets just a tree, which is what a bunch of other tree-like things have got. So it's basically just like saves on text, I think. So you lose Prowl, get just a tree. You're not a living model, and if you've got concealment, you have stealth. And then here's basically the big deal: is the beasts. So we see a couple of things are a point here, a point there. Also, we know the Gorax changes the primal.
Most of the living beasts gained a +1 strength, and that's all to do with the primal change.
Yeah. But like the feral is down by 2 points. It's up by
14 points for a feral.
Mm-hmm.
And
obviously it's the new version of Primal. It's looking tasty. A lot more. So
just for those who aren't aware, the Primal change, this is the really big thing. Instead of being +2 to hit +2 damage in melee, it's now +1/+1. But whereas previously it made you frenzy, it no longer makes you frenzy.
It just takes that off.
So it's a 1 point accuracy loss that you're getting off Primal. It's a 1 point damage loss.
Yeah, but you don't trade off your beasts.
Most of the beasts are getting a 1 point strength buff anyway. So you're only really losing 1 point of accuracy out of Primal. But in exchange for that, you're not frenzying. You're not throwing away the beast. So that's a really big deal.
It's really good. But we've got like the Pure Blood goes down by 2. Getrix goes down by 2. Loki goes down by 4 points.
Oh, Loki, buddy.
Like, that's nice. And obviously he has the new drag text as well, so it doesn't have to damage someone to rope him in. Which is cool. And then obviously you've got a couple of other points changes here and there, like the Rip Horns are -3.
Meggy went down 3 points. Why is Megalith going down 3 points?
I don't know. So I can see why. So the
walls. Bountiful Restoration became better.
Yeah. So like the Stalker's down by 2. The Wold White is down by 1, so it's a 4-point life.
Pure Blood down by 2 is also quite big. I've always struggled to pay the points for a Pure Blood.
Yeah, but I think Circle has got the most of the 2 and 3 range, a lot of 2 range.
Yeah. Riphorn is down to 11. Rippy! I love it. I love it.
Have you not seen people talking about things like Wold White spam? So Wold White's are 4 points for a light Warbeast. That's gonna do some work, Maybe Brandigus does come back and it's just like surrounded by bastards.
I don't think so, but sure, whatever. There's still, they're 4 points. They're made of tissue paper, whatever. Yeah. Like, come on.
This is where so I think it's
Wardens
huge.
At 13 points. Like Wardens were the most played beast in the circle. What the hell? Yeah. Why are Wardens getting a point decrease?
I don't know why any of the Wolds basically have had any changes, particularly apart from the Wold Wrath. And the Wold Wrath hasn't had enough.
The only one that needed a points drop. There were 2 that needed a points drop: the Wold Wrath and the Wold Guardian. The Wold Guardian didn't get anything, and the Wold Wrath 3 points is 34 points.
But it's still one of the worst.
34 points. Yeah. Why is it 34 points? That's the most expensive gargantuan around.
When we've seen a lot of the Colossals and gargantuan down to like 32, 33. Yeah, it could have been. It could have been down.
I think the Archangel's cheaper than that.
So sad.
Like, seriously, the Archangel... No, the Archangel's 35 points. Okay, all is right with the world. Seriously, 1 point difference between that and an Archangel.
I think the Wold Wrath could have gone down to 31 and become...
the Wold Wrath needed a quality of life upgrade, beyond anything else.
Yeah, if they weren't going to do that, then it had to be just like a cut.
Like, I could see the Wold Wrath at 28, like, sub 30. The Wold Wrath is easily the second shittest gargantuan in the game.
What's the first one, Evan?
I think I'll leave you to guess that one.
We'll come back to that in a bit.
We'll get to it shortly. But yes.
So I would say overall, like this
Circle Christmas.
This is the thing that defines the update for Circle. There's like some points here and there for other models, but nothing compares to this massive reduction and quality of life change for basically the
living beast,
huge range of
the
wolves and the goats, basically.
Pretty much.
I know a lot of Circle players are like chomping at the bit about it. We're gonna see a lot of them on the table, like for sure, which would be cool. Like
it's good because all the Warp Wolves are nice models.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
and the goats as well.
I've got to stop you. The Extreme Feral looks like a fucking demented rat.
It's idiotic. I hate it. Yes. So if we ignore the Extreme, which is a bit silly, the rest of the living Warbeasts actually look very cool.
Yeah, they're absolutely really cool. I was really tempted to play Circle when I started.
The Extreme Feral is fucking stupid. There's no question.
They might need a bit of a dust off, so might have to get your tush out.
Yeah, definitely. Like, go into your basements, go into your attic, find your living Warbeasts that have been there since Mark II.
Yeah,
time to
give them a good wash. Just a feather duster's not going to cut it.
Yes, send them to the groomers. Get them the full shebang. The rest of the faction updates. They're just like minor updates apart from the
some surprisingly interesting ones.
Mistriders.
So Mistriders, 4 points for a max, 4 points discount on a max unit.
Yeah.
magic ability 7. They gain prowl and immunity to electricity. It's a whole lot of quality of life stuff for them.
Yeah, it's a whole
and
lot.
I still don't think they're worth.
There's a whole lot.
And they still don't tempt me. So I know Harrison's going to have fun, but I just don't get it.
I think I know that Harrison's been talking about it. I know that Baby Michael's
Harrison's
been talking
about them for 3 years. Like, come on.
But it's not. But when other circle players start to join in, unless it's not like a shared delusion anymore. It's more of a other
it's something
quality
to
circle players are all saying, these are going to be worth taking.
I'm quite interested in the Wolfsworn, so we'll ignore Skinwalkers because so did Privateer Press, so why shouldn't I?
Like 2 points,
but both Reeves and Wolves of Orboros took some interesting changes. So Wolves, they were already cheap, but they gained an extra point of strength and power, so they went up +2 in power strength. So now your ambushers, who have a Weapon Master mini feat with 2-inch reach and speed 6 in Pathfinder, can come in at power 11 Weapon Master instead of 9. That's actually significant. That could that's not as good as Cossite Woodman, but let's not go there.
not
but everyone. For once we're saying almost as good as Cossite Woodsman, and we're not being shitty about people. Like that. This world is so weird. And Reeves. Okay, I'm still not sure if they're too expensive, but their crossbows went up to power 10 as well. They went up from 8. So suddenly you've got, same as the Nis archers, you've got a double-shotting Reeves. They've still got the go to ground mini feat, which is great, and they've got hunters, so there's no concealment or cover against them. So
I'm not sure we see them
Reeves
there. I'm not
are
sure it's
interesting.
enough.
It might not be enough. It's enough to tempt me to put them on the table and find out.
That's fair. Will over on the Twitch chat saying he bought the Warpwolf trio, so like the Feral, the Pureblood, and the Stalker, 2 years before he even played Warmachine. Just bought the models because like they look really cool.
And that's fair. They're such cool minis. Yeah, and my personal favorite of the lot is Loki. Loki is such a gorgeous mini.
Gorgeous sculpt. Yeah. And also Mist Riders, Valley with the Morvanas. I think that's basically what we're hearing is Morvana, Tanith, and Una 2 are the likely winners for the Mist Riders.
Basically.
I'm
not that
got
Harrison, but sure.
It's got Harrison written all over it. If you know him, he's a top guy over on the east coast of the States. Who's at the Boca Brawl. So everyone that's on the east coast is.
Currently Boca Brawl right now.
Full on Boca Brawling it. Yeah, they must be on like the second or third round of like their Friday whatever event it is. So awesome. That's going
nice.
So Circle definitely
Circle and
basically
the biggest
minor changes, and then you look at the beasts and it's suddenly
we haven't
bonkers.
covered their biggest buff. We haven't covered their biggest buff.
Oh right, we haven't
because it's in the document.
So we could jump ahead to that.
Finally, Wormwood is takeable in Secret Masters,
which is fucking humongous for Circle.
Circle Christmas never ends.
I don't know.
We can now take Kruger, Zero, and Wormwood, and whatever the hell else you want with all the riot quests and the death archons.
Why this was needed? Like. Can Privateer Press not think? Can you not think of the rest of us, like the pain that we've gone through with Kruger for so long, and now you've just slotted in Wormwood into the best team for them? Oh my god! No.
Never ends. I love it.
I'm looking forward to resurgence of fucking Viros 2 just to go and stomp all over bloody Wormwood. Yeah,
I mean, it's fair. That's absolutely fair.
Yeah. I wonder if I've got any Griffins left, as in like Myrmidon Griffins. But so that's a little bit of an upgrade. Circle. Circle. Basically, it's got like what did we look at? We looked at some nice, interesting changes for a couple of casters. Nice quality of life. A few reductions. The units and the solos, okay. And then you basically just go ballistic when you get to the War Beast points. and life changes and Wormwood. That's like if they literally like just deleted, if you deleted any update to anything apart from the Living Beasts and Wormwood, they'd still probably be one of the factions that's made it best out of this update.
It would still be singing to the heavens.
Yeah, they'd be like, okay, thanks. Yeah, so Circle, well done. We salute you. We'll see
some
you.
Of us begrudgingly, some less so.
We'll see you at the podium for the next year or so. Again. Fine. That's what team events are for. You can't all be fucking Wormwood, fucking Kruger. Anyway, so yeah, definitely winners.
Yeah,
and as Will said, Skinwalkers. They've definitely missed some tricks here. We've seen it where there's some things that they just haven't had enough.
But I don't get why Skinwalkers don't have Pathfinder.
I don't get why they can't actually, hit harder than a stiff breeze.
Yeah, they're such a cool thematic unit, they just
serve no purpose. They don't have enough attacks to really do any damage. They don't have enough hitting power to hit hard targets, and they're not quite resilient enough to really tank the world. So what's their purpose? I don't understand why they're in the game.
Sure. Let's leave it. Let's go. So the point is though, this is obviously was, as we said, it's like somewhere between 700-800 updates.
Absolutely.
And we do know that they understand that some of the models need more work than just a little tweak and a little point adjustment.
Exactly.
So don't give up hope. This is a huge move. A huge amount of resources.
It's a massive move. It's a massive effort that's gone into this.
Yeah, I think this is.
They can't give it. They can't get everything right.
This is potentially like the biggest, most positive update that we've had in Mark III. It's an update that's affected every faction. Nearly every list in some capacity will be touched by it.
This is the biggest change I've seen since the Mark II to Mark III shift.
Yeah, I think it's massive. And I think they've done it really well. There was a nice build-up. Well, we talked about this yesterday. There was a really nice build-up where people were there was communication with the community as a whole, asking people for pictures of their models, and Lauren would choose the models that she liked, and they would get cheeky spoilers. Obviously, there's been content creators like ourselves and various other podcasters that have all had spoilers to give. I think the admin team behind Discord and behind the Warmachine Facebook pages got given some spoilers as well to hand out. I think it's been handled really well, communications wise and update wise. I think it's fantastic. So,
yeah.
Even though I hate Circle.
So moving on to Scorn, the faction I've never understood as long as I live.
Yeah. I played a little bit of Scorn, but only a very little, maybe. But
I don't get this faction. Never have understood.
Let's have a quick check. So obviously, first of all, we'll look through the casters. So we've seen the maltreatment as a whole. So that maltreatment change we saw for Mozart is just changed the wording. So anyone that's got it. So Zakar.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
but this is on this is on good casters.
Yeah,
damn.
Cool. Arcadius has it. Dr. Arcadius. We can get to minions.
Morgul 1. Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
Scorn look okay, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
nothing really stands out.
Pretty much. The Aridus, which I always thought were pretty quality beasts anyway, have got a nice point reduction.
Yeah.
Those are 2-point reductions. And you'll often, when you in a list that plays 1, you'll usually play 2, so that's quite significant. The Desert Hydra, has that really? No, that's got a 1 point down, up 1 point cheaper. Not really a big deal. The Despoiler got a 3-point drop. Does the Despoiler mean anything to anyone?
And Despoiler's the one that can bring the Void Spirit in. It's like the weird, it's like a lizardy thing that's got like an arching, lantern over its back. Yeah. So
Tibbers with a 3 point drop is quite aggressive.
I think that the Titans as a whole have had the biggest thing. So yeah, Tiberian with a 3-point drop, the Cannoneer and the Gladiator both with a 2-point drop, and the Sentry gaining an extra point in Fury. Like,
that's solid.
I've definitely, like, our local Scorn player is definitely talking about Titans as a thing.
Okay.
So
quite very similar to Legion then. Like,
yeah, and
your beasts are coming back. Good.
Yeah, and I think Scorn, if you're not playing Immortals, Scorn's very heavily leaning on War Beasts and on.
No, if you're not playing Immortals, you're playing the Turtles.
Yeah, basically you're playing Turtles and Beasts, either in Cycles of Agony or whatever. But the Turtles haven't had any adjustment at all, and neither the Supreme Guardians. And if I was a Scorn player, I'd be sat there pretty happy with that. Because
I think those slipped under the radar.
Yeah.
If you're trying to bring infantry back into the game, that Supreme Guardian needs a hit with a nerf bat.
But it's very limited, like, scope you take it with, right? You can take it outside of Immortals, but you don't really.
No, it's only in Immortals, but it's still it's a 3-inch Mat 7 Divine Inspiration Thresher.
Yeah, but you can take it in other
infantry.
You can take it in other themes as well. You can take it in Winds of Death, is it as well? Yeah, Winds of Death. You can take any of the battle engines. You just don't see it very often. I definitely have seen like double Turtles and a single Supreme, but which is nasty. But yeah, I don't think. It's too easy to lock out on scenario, I think, these days.
No, absolutely. I just don't see how it's again my eye of getting infantry back into the game. Yeah. That thing is a toxic pill for infantry.
Yeah. So I think looking at it, we've got like some minor changes in quality of life stuff for the casters. Nothing particularly big and like impactful. Some really nice changes points wise for the beasts.
The beasts.
The bronze back has gone down by 1 as well. So the bronze back goes down by 1. Tiberian goes down by 2. The Cannoneer, the Gladiator both go down by 2 as well.
Yeah. Tiberia's 3. Like, it's 3, good.
Yeah. And Monarch's down by 2 as well, which is significant.
Really?
Monarch's always been fucking dangerous.
Damn. Yeah. So okay. And you're still 17, which is quite expensive, but sure.
I'd pay it, right? I think
yeah. So fair enough.
So I think that's where the big chunk is of positive change, and if we look through like the solos and the units, so the Void Spirit's got a bit cheaper and has got a change to Void Walk, which I think is just in line with the Archon, Void Archon. So it doesn't limit it.
Right.
So it's no longer just doing its combat action. So
fine.
If somehow it has an attack outside of it, I don't know if it's got the capacity to do so, or if it's just to keep the rules in check.
Okay, that's sexy.
But what else have we got? We've got obviously
the cataphracts are quite cheap.
Yeah.
They've gone.
So
4 points, 2 points.
So I've not seen any cataphract on the table since Mark II.
I know.
Like,
Cetrati with a 3 points in a 3-point drop. You've got a lot of Iron Flesh in Scorn, and you've got the shield wall buff that's now letting you walk an extra 3 inches.
Yeah.
Maybe we see Cetrati back.
Yeah, and they've got Desperate Pace available as well. So
you could see him with Xerxes 1.
Yeah, that used to be Xerxes 1. I could see them coming back.
Yeah, possibly.
That could be enough.
Ferox have gone down by 3 points as well, and I thought Ferox were really
good.
Wow.
Ferox were always okay.
But they don't have the boost after a jump anymore. They get +2, just a flat +2 to melee attack and damage rolls. Which is all? Yeah, which is fine, right?
Yeah, so the pounce loses its POW because it used to be Weapon Master pounces, but you can also.
This is a straight up buff.
It's a buff because the cat pounce only affected the cat, whereas
only affected the cat.
Now
this is the guy in top and the
cat
cat
as well. Yeah. So
yeah, this is a straight up buff.
Yeah, you get +2/+2 to your mount and your dude on top.
So a 3-point reduction and a solid buff to their output. Yeah, Ferox are in a good place.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I like that because they are some of the prettiest models in the game. I love those models.
One of the guys down in Cardiff has been playing with Max. Has been playing with Ferox that he's converted. So his whole Scorn thing, he's gone for a more Oriental theme. So he's got them on the Oriental like lion dog.
Oh, the foo dog type thing.
Yeah, they look really cool. He's got those, and then I think he's got Redeem on like Redeem's riding like a little cloud serpent, which is
really cool.
Yeah. And nice. Rider is a multi-headed Chinese dragon.
Yeah.
So
that is really cool. Okay, that's a lot of work, but good on him.
Yeah. Max is one of these guys that converts anything and gets his hand on, and they look really. I think this is probably like the nice.
That's awesome.
We played in Swansea over. Was it last summer? I was down, wasn't it? And
it was a month or two ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it was not too far back. Yeah, it was in a couple of months back, and we had what was it, like 5 or 6 of us playing in the garden. It was a lovely day, and Max showed up, opened these up, and I just gushed all over them all day. I was like, Max, this is like the best conversion stuff you've done. I didn't even play him, and I was just like, oh no, I did play him. Sorry, I did play him. I was terrified by his Ferox, and then just ate them all in one turn. But yeah. So
okay, very cool.
And then just some other little tweaks here and there. Shooting gallery for the slingers. I'm like, do the slingers ever do anything apart from have spells arc through from Fatty and then die?
No, that's their job. That's it.
So I'm not sure. So the big stuff I think is, and obviously the Annihilators got this weird pain-induced bliss. So basically means they don't berserk onto each other, or they can they can stop it.
So not a lot, but what has happened in Scorn, I actually think is really quality.
Yeah, and the Scorn beast lists were hitting very, very hard because they got to bring.
I mean, but that's always been the case.
Oh no, even more, right? Because they get to stack the minion buffs on top.
You never needed, but you never needed it. Like Titans always killed what they hit. It was getting them to reach that was the problem.
Yeah,
like Titans have never struggled killing what they get into.
Yeah. So. Another win faction, I think. Not as like.
I think so.
Not as much of a landslide as Circle.
Much more impressive than I thought at first. Like between the Ferox, the Satrati, and the Titans, like that's a solid buff.
Yeah, cool.
And both the Turtle and the Supreme slipping under the radar.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge.
I think so. I think Scorn can be really happy with this.
Yeah, I would be. So next is the spookiest of spookiest, Grimkin. So let's talk about Grimkin. So the child's Trump Arcana, Trump.
This is actually a good change.
It is, yeah. So she gains a point of fury and the fury stats. She gains a point of fury herself and the fury stats of the models in the battle group in the control go up by 1. And then it also increases her control range by 2. So basically, the stuff that's in your control area because of your feats stays in your control area the next turn. So you don't auto frenzy.
It increases by 2 until the end of your next maintenance phase.
Yeah. So basically, you can leech. Everything that's on the extreme edge of your feat turn isn't just going to frenzy automatically, which is nice.
So basically, it means your Trump Arcana isn't a trap for yourself anymore.
Yeah, which is good.
That's the change.
And she gets a fury point.
Life buff.
And she gets an extra fury point as well to spend, which is cool. So nice little.
No, she always did. Yeah, they've just cleaned up the wording. She always used to go up to Fury 8. That's exactly why the what's it called? That's exactly why it used to happen. It used to be you just increase the Fury stat. Yeah.
It was just increase the Fury stat of models in the battle group.
Yeah. So she would have gone. She would have had Fury 8, but only 7 points. Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Whereas now she goes up to Fury 8, but also has that extra point of Fury.
Also gains a point. Yeah. Okay. I think I've been cheating people. I always played it that way.
Oops. Yeah, it's pretty nice. I found my child model. I've been missing like the actual child part, so I've had the big,
you've had Dolly,
big,
but not the child.
I've had the big monster Dolly on the base, and I've not had a clue where my actual the girl was until like literally this week. I've been tidying up my drawers and organising like basic materials, and I was like found a little bag, and I'm like, oh, there's a little girl in that bag.
Oh, cool. She's really cool. Like if you paint her up right, she's actually got this like Wednesday Addams expression on her face. She's really cool.
She's a little creepy bitch.
Yeah, and, she really is.
she's not on her base because she snapped off at the ankle at some point. So I'm just gonna. Well, actually, sorry. I'm just gonna bin her shoes, and just have her coming out of. I'm gonna use like some resin and some like blood for the blood god, and have her coming out of a massive pool of blood in front of Dolly.
Because so she's not creepy enough. Cool.
Yeah, she's not creepy enough.
Like
so basically, I'm gonna have like resin. So you can use like some resin effects and some blood stuff. So basically, Dolly's hands, claws are gonna be dripping in blood onto the floor, and then she'll be rising out of the pool, full on like horror film esque. And that'll be why she doesn't have any shoes.
Yeah.
So making the most of out of a snap.
But making the most of a broken model. Yeah.
So what is that?
Nice.
Let's get back to the update. So,
okay.
Old Witch gets 2 extra points of War Beasts. So I'm happy with that.
Why not?
That's fine. Obviously loses out on Windstorm a little bit.
The usual Windstorm, the Windstorm dynamic update, fine.
And then here's the one that is, it's nice, but it's not enough. So the Death Knell goes down by 2 points to 11, and its command goes up to 10.
I applaud the attempt. It's just not enough.
Just falls shy, right? So we talked about this a bunch this last week. Where I think if it stayed as it was rules wise, even with a command adjustment, I think it needed to go down to like 8 points. I needed to have a really big decrease.
But honestly, 10 points and let it generate some bloody corpses. Give it season the source.
Yeah, literally take it. 10 points, season the source. And it'll be done
with.
Or 11 points. Give it like something else it can do. I don't know what. It's got like
let it generate one when it moves like the bloody trident. Like we'll take that. That's something.
So what I would have done personally would be I'd sort of point it around 10, 11 points. I like the command upgrade, and I think I would just flat out give it season the source. I'd be tempted to let it collect corpses from friendly stuff you kill, the same as the Grave Ghoul.
But
that might be too much. But obviously you can only allocate once a turn, so maybe it's not too much. But I would have given it a range attack. It's like if you look at part of the model, is this huge lantern, and just giving it a beacon gun, the same as Wanderer.
Like the Wanderer. Yeah, that would have been nice. It needs to do something. Something else.
If it literally just runs around behind your models and that's it.
But I mean, I want you to think about just how poor it is that you're saying the one thing it does, it needs to do better, and it needs to do something else on top of it.
Yeah.
In order to justify the points drop it's just taken.
Yeah.
And I agree with you on every point you've said, but just how bad is this model that's how much it needs?
Yeah, it's just if you just compare it to basically any of the other
any battle engine,
and what it's doing currently is just performing the same job as a small support unit that's probably half the points.
Exactly. It's Creelstone Bearers without the additions that they've gotten.
Yeah. Which you can't fuel yourself. You have to rely on your opponent killing your stuff.
It's doing it worse than the Creelstone Bearers. Man.
And you can never hide it because it's a huge base.
Yeah.
Whereas Creelstone is a lot easier to keep alive. Anyway, so that's where we think. I think that's the biggest. The biggest change.
That's the biggest disappointment. Really sad.
I think another thing they really should have done is looked at the other Arcana. So obviously the Child's Trump has changed, but I think they need to update the General Arcana. So you've got
some of them are just so...
letting Desolation add any of the new terrain types, that would have made it...
That would have been really interesting.
Like if you could suddenly stick a quicksand or a swell or windstorm or whatever they're bloody called.
The ability to put a windswept terrain down on a shooting beast that's just finished advancing is really... It's just such a nice dick move.
Yeah, absolutely, you're right. It's really Grimkinny, and
it's really Grimkinny. That would fuck over an
types.
Archangel. Stick down a windswept thing as soon as it finishes moving, and now this 5-inch base has got no Pathfinder in it. No.
Yeah. or you move something moves up to clear a path for the million Death Archons that are out there, and you stick it down,
exactly.
and suddenly the Death Archon can't get into melee with whatever it thought it was going to because
can't fly, and I mean it could have been really interesting.
Yeah, I think that's a missed trick, and it's not just that one. That's the one that I got on my mind, but I think they basically should have looked at the whole range of Arcana. It wouldn't have taken too much, I think, and gone, what can we do? Maybe we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah.
They could have been a bit of a captive audience, right?
I love the one that ends an order, but like instead of issues an order, issues or receives for Pandemonium.
Yeah.
Like it's so easy to play around by just sticking your unit leader far back.
Yeah.
Like just fix that it can work as intended.
Yeah, just tweaks here and there, just to give the things that aren't Sacrifice and Labyrinth more options.
Exactly.
Anyway, so let's have a little look through the rest of the actual models then. So obviously Grimkin are a limited faction. There's not a lot of things to choose from. So Cage Rager and Skin and Moans have gone down by a point each, which I think is okay.
It's okay. It's
not like anything to write home about.
Look, maybe you fit in some extra. Maybe you fit in an extra light if you go back to an old school Dreamer menagerie. Because
I think they could have taken 2 each. To be fair, like the Cage Rager could have been cheaper than. You
used to be able to get 6 of them, right? And you're now getting each of them gets you. So that's 6 points plus 3 points for the. Or is it 2 points down for the death knell? 2.
2.
So, I mean, even if you were playing with 2 Clockatrices, that's 6 points. That's 8 points if you're playing with 6 non-clock beasts. That's enough to put down a
defiled Archon.
A defiled Archon or a what's the little infantry muncher beast?
The Gorehack or the Rattler?
No, not the Gorehound. The one with the Freddy Krueger claws.
Oh, the Rattler. But they're so bad though. They're really bad, and they haven't got any cheaper or any better.
Yeah, I always like them with the Dreamer to just surf infantry, and with the dream that infantry might be coming back.
Yeah, but I think they threaten. They've got such a low threat range, and then because they've only got
true.
They step forward, and then they're probably out of range. They're easily out of range for if you position your unit. You position your unit, seeing that that's on the table, and you just go. These guys are like 2 inches away from each other. They're fine. This guy isn't going to Pac-Man anywhere.
It's true.
I think that needed some help. I think the 2 points adjustment on the Frightmare maybe isn't enough. I think maybe 2 points and give it a rate of fire 2, and it'd be decent. It'd be good.
Maybe, yeah.
But and 3 points on the Slaughterhouse, which is nice. 32, and obviously the new
I mean,
drag.
I appreciate it. I don't care because it's still not enough for me to spend money on it.
It's not enough.
Sure.
So I think I'm definitely going to put it in lists. I'm going to try it on the table because as we sometimes see that things on paper or when you first look at it don't add up and have more or less value than you'd attribute to it when you've actually played a couple of games with it. So I'm going to try it. I'm going to. A
drag gun is an interesting gimmick on a small point beast. A drag gun is pretty shit to be your central gimmick on a on a gargantuan.
Maybe
there's just no way out of it.
But we'll get back to it in a minute. We'll come back in a minute. That's what
sure.
I think if obviously I talked about it like a month or so ago of what I thought the Slaughterhouse needed. I still think it kind of needs a little bit more than just a point adjustment.
I agree.
But we'll see how things pan out. otherwise, the rest of the stuff basically is all minor changes.
No, it's not.
Hollow, apart from the Witchwood, which is really nice.
Yeah.
So I don't even own a Witchwood.
So there are a couple of interesting points changes before we get to Witchwood, which is my personal favorite one. So Dreadrot's going up to Def 13. If you're playing a Wanderer list, that can be very interesting. I mean, I've been playing Dread that defends 12 in Wanderer, and they've been really cool. So that's actually quite welcome. Repo 3 on Hollow Men is interesting. I just don't think that the meta is going to change enough to make it relevant.
Yeah, and Hollow Holden's now got heads or tails, so one of them is -2 armor, is Bane, so -2 armor on a non-living model it shoots. And then the other one is Weaken, which is -2 strength and death on a living model. Yeah. So you basically toss a coin and see which one he gets.
I mean... Yeah, I still hate this randomized nonsense.
Yeah, I wouldn't take him. I've got Hollow Men, I've got Lantern Men. I wouldn't buy this guy. He's a sack of shit. Don't waste your points on him.
Exactly. Twilight Sisters at 5 points is honestly quite interesting.
Yeah, I really like the reduction for the Madcaps and the Glimmer Imp as well, and Cariana. That's all nice. So Madcaps going down to 3. The Glimmer Imp going down to 3, and Cariana as well.
3 is pretty good.
Because you're often
3 is good.
Yeah, you're often sort of tweaking and trying to squeeze extra points out, and I've not taken the Glimmer Imp because he's 4. When he's 3, you might actually get into a list. Well,
and especially in a bump list that isn't playing all Nayslayers.
Yeah. Suddenly
that accuracy buff really matters.
Yeah.
So I do like the Glimmer Imp. And then on to my favourites, like the shining light of this update.
You talk us through the spooky
Witchwood gains. Okay, so the bad news is he gains just the tree, which is a bit upsetting. I always used to damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
If you kill Witchwood, you fuel my corpse cart. If you don't kill him, Witchwood's a pain in your ass.
Yeah.
Well, okay, it's just a tree. You're not fueling any corpse tokens. But Witchwood gains, so the big thing is the range attack is called Tendril Trap now. He no longer has dual attack, and he has drag.
And is a large base.
That's the thing. For all of you who've been assembling your lists and have never bothered looking at Witchwood, he's a large base.
Yeah, so he's a 5.
And that's massive.
A 5-point solo, and he now also goes into Dark Menagerie. So you can take him. You can take him for free in both lists, in both themes, and is basically a requisition option that is a large base that can drag.
So it's a 5-point model with a non-linear 13-inch threat to drag a heavy. Witchwood is legit. I could see myself playing 2 in all Menagerie lists.
And then he gets Bone Picker, Death Powered, and Death Feast as well. So they can heal the corpses, and more importantly, they get buff to their armor and strength from the corpses on them. So they have up to 3 corpses. So you take them in DM. They start with a corpse.
He'll start with a corpse.
So it balances out the -1 to their strength. So they just get that back straight away, and obviously you can then apply it. But yeah, I think nice.
Witchwood needs to find his way into every list. So doesn't matter which team.
I've made a list today. I've made a list with some Wormwoods in. I've made a list with Wormwoods and a Slaughterhouse. So it's we're gonna have a very brief detour from the update.
That's cute.
I've not liked any list I've made with a Slaughterhouse until today. So it's
okay.
So Old Witch. So you have the protection of Windstorm.
Sure.
And you have the addition of being able to use her arcane machinery to get.
And you've got Boundless Charge to actually give it some speed. Fine.
Yeah, and Divinator to let it reroll failed attack rolls.
Sure.
So lots of nice little things, and then obviously she's got Curse of Shadows to reduce the armor stuff, and she's got a Scourge, so she's got the ability to knock shit down. So lots of things that go well with it. So it's basically so her with Baron Tonguelick, a Slaughterhouse, 2 Clockatrices, and a Skin and Bones.
Right.
I haven't taken. I was tempted to take a Cage Rager, but I've got 2 Defiled Archons as well, and she threatens so far with her spells. Anyway, I don't think she needs the Arcanode. And then
Do you have a Nell?
I don't have the Nell.
Right.
Don't have the Nell. So it's in DM. So obviously the Slaughterhouse and the Slaughterhouse doesn't carry corpses, but the Skin and Bones gets a corpse, and basically just loads up through the game is the idea. Carry on a rose. So you've got 2 shots out of the Death Knell's. The Slaughterhouse's gun. So it's Zavan Arga, Baron Tonguelick, a Slaughterhouse, 2 Clockatrices, a Skin and Bones, 2 Defiled Archons, the Hermit, 2 Gremlin Swarms, Carry On a Rose, a Glimmer Imp for the minus defense, and then 2 Witchwoods. So there's 4. So there's 4 drag shots a turn.
I feel like I want to drop a Clockatrice for a Death Knell, but yeah, man,
you just
tough.
You have 2 little things. I think if you take the Death Knell, and you've also got 3 huge faces.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean,
so I'm gonna build it. I'm gonna put it on the table. It's the first.
Oh God!
It's the first. It's the first Slaughterhouse list I haven't hated.
I must say, it's Windstorm to help protect those Witchwoods, and then you've got the double pull. No, it's interesting.
The double pull.
Witchwood is the only reason I'm not completely bleak on Grimkin, because I think that it's not a small change to the faction. It's not quite as big as Defiled Archons, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, it's really nice.
A really big change.
Oh, and Nick, thanks for the like on Facebook, buddy. But yeah, I think there's not enough changes to Grimkin.
So Delos was saying on Twitch that Witchwood is basically a Hellmouth now. Witchwood is much better than a Hellmouth now, because a Hellmouth has very set and very static threats.
It's parked
where it is. When you can get there. You can also get around as a Hellmouth if there's nothing else to open you up. You can just play the geometry game, and you can sit perpendicular to that Hellmouth, and it can't drag you.
Yeah.
You can't play those games against Witchwood.
Yeah,
he's teleporting 5 inches. He'll find his way out.
Yeah.
Like, it's way. There's some static defenses that you've got against Hellmouths that just won't work against Witchwood.
Yeah.
It's a lot better.
So I think it's really nice what they've done to the Witchwood, and the child update is nice, but apart from that,
it's good to see.
I think there's a lot of things where they've touched things too lightly. It looks like basically to me that they've been scared to give Grimkin enough back.
Yeah.
And Grimkin have been on a bit of a down sort of turn for a while. They need some more love.
I'd like Grimkin to see some more love than this, honestly.
Yeah, I think the things that they need to maybe look back at is an Arcana update. Maybe one of the casters gets the whole. What's the thing we keep on seeing in the new casters?
Synergistic magic. Maybe give that to the heretic.
Yeah, something along those lines. So basically, maybe update a caster slightly like that. But generally,
I think the casters are actually fine. Like the Grimkin casters are actually really well designed.
Yeah,
I think just a bit of model updates,
little tweaks
would be nice.
And then basically just raising some of those Duff Arcanas into being viable options, and then fixing the Death Knell, fixing the Slaughterhouse, and then maybe just minor tweaks. It's enough then.
You know what I'd actually revise maybe on casters is actually the Trump Arcana, because most of the time the Trump Arcana is the weakest Arcana you've got.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, I've probably never used the Dreamer's Trump Arcana. I've played a lot of games with King of Nothing, and it's very rarely triggered.
If you build for it, you can play the King of Nothing.
Yeah, but like you build for it, and
you're not building for it.
Yeah, you're basically building a bad list or a worse. You're taking worse options to
If you're playing a bump list, you can go with say like 4 or 6 Crabbits. You play 2 Gorehounds. You can actually get quite a bit of value out of his trump, but you have to be facing the right thing. Like I was playing into lots of infantry. When you're playing into heavies, it's meaningless.
Yeah. But so definitely some way off target with Grimkin. Going in the right direction though, but not quite there.
Yeah,
I think is what
exactly. I think that's safe.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll see a little bit more like updates in the future that will get in line with that. And then we've just got one left, haven't we? We've just got minions.
Yeah, minions.
Minions, right? So the overall perception, I think, at the end of Grimkin is too little, too light. Could have done with a couple of key pieces that really needed bringing forward and bringing up.
The faction needs help. It's not in a good space.
Not in a great space. Yeah.
It's not like Circle, where if you ignored them, like, oh well, it's Circle, they're fine anyway.
The weirdest thing I find though
is
I keep on seeing people saying about how you've not given Dreadrots a point of defense, as if Dreadrots are like the thing that is needed. Like, I don't understand where these people are that are playing that Dreadrots are ruling their local matters.
Maybe I'm just a shitty person, but I want to play in that meta.
we have said this, right? Yeah.
It's not the first time I've made that comment.
Yeah, I don't understand how Dreadrots for me might be like iconic to look at for the faction, but they're not don't define.
I love the models, but they're just
yeah, they're just not enough to support the faction. So
they're basically Bane Thralls. How many Bane Thralls do you see nowadays?
Yeah, basically. So falling a bit short. Hopefully they'll get a little bit of love down the line sooner rather than later. Hopefully, I'm going to be playing them in Convergence for this year for sure. I imagine I'll bounce between them a little bit, depending on how frustrated I get with that bad Grimkin. Anyway, minions.
Okay, go for it.
Minions are looking pretty tasty. Who were in a very, very strong position anyway. So we rated these guys. We rated minions as S tier, right, when we did our faction tier list not too long ago. Let's have a little blitz through the casters that have had change. So Barney 2 has got some extra Warboys points. So 2 extra Warboys points. Barney 2 is the one with who brings the little sort of Bone Swarm minions with him.
Sure.
Caliban gets synergistic magic.
That's fun.
Which is really nice. That opens up some nice plays. Obviously, we've seen the maltreatment change for Arcadius. Jagger gets 2 more Warbeast points. We've already seen what Azello lost Distraction. And changed to Rage Amplifier. And they changed to Phantasms. That's all old news. Rask's Energy Siphon can siphon Essence now.
Essence? Oh god, he gets a Kalissa treatment. Yep. Shit. Okay.
So
because Rask wasn't a strong enough caster, he wasn't already like right up at the top of Minions casters before.
Has Rask's gun got paralysis on it as well? Or my
Rask's gun's got some really interesting stuff. I remember it always surprises me when I see it. Like
Bell, I think?
He is one really scary fishman. Here we go. What's his gun got?
Yes, Arcane Interference, Energy Siphon, or Paralysis. So
Paralysis. There we go. It's Paralysis that always catches me out.
He's got some options. He's got
he's a scary little fishman.
He's a surprise. You look at the model and what he does, and you don't expect him to have this kick-ass gun, but he definitely does.
Oh yeah.
So if he's not sat at the back and comes forward, he's probably going to do something nasty to one of your shit. And then let's have a little look. So just light touches really on the casters. The casters were in a good spot, so I think that's fine. And then the beasts, not
the wrestler was always taken, and that's got a nice points decrease. 2 points. And
then obviously some of the stuff is plus to their strength, which again, balances out the primal side of things.
Oh yeah, they're getting the same primal treatment. Fine. But that's actually quite big though, because the primal treatment doesn't make a lot of sense here, because they've also got rage.
Yeah.
Local doesn't have rage, so a strength buff here is a genuine strength buff. It's not just cancelling out primal.
Yeah.
Oh, big night. No, so you not lost primal. Primal is now changed across the board. So rather than it being +2/+2 and then auto frenzy, they've completely cut the frenzy aspect. So it's now +1 to hit, +1 damage, but there's no frenzy element. So it's basically just a safe buff you put on. So you lose a little bit of the strength and the accuracy, but it means you don't have to be throwing away that model or completely losing its activation next turn. And a lot of the models that are touched by the change in primal across the board, so circle and minions basically, have had a lot of models go up by 1 strength to make up for that difference between what primal was giving them before. And as Evan has just pointed out, you didn't use primal for the strength buff. You used it for both. So which means that if you don't need the accuracy, then you basically just getting an extra
use
power
rage.
On top of your rage you're putting onto your pigs. So
it's just a straight buff. So
pretty good.
That's quite. That Warhog strength buff is really tasty.
Yeah, so the Warhog strength buff is nice, and it's just
and the Roadhog. Look at that.
Yeah, it's across all of their attacks as well. So that's nice. The Splatterball loses inaccurate as well on its gun, which is nice. I think.
Okay.
I think it gives it a little bit more options for using. I think I've built Arcadius lists with the Splatterball just to do little nice things. And obviously, we've seen the Rattlers down by 2 points. The Spitter's down by 2 points. I'm not sure if just the reduction on the Spitter is enough to see it played, maybe. But the Dracodar's down by 3 points, which is nice. The Dracodar's at 33 points.
Scouts going down to 4 points is interesting. You might see some of those taken in Secret Masters lists now.
Yeah, that's they were good solos for minions anyway. And this is I think the bit that they most benefit from is we see
and Alton Assel's gone down by a point as well.
Yeah, but there's a ton of these models in the minions the minion solo category that were being played plenty of times. So the Bogtrog Smith Speaker's gone down by a point. I'd see him all the time. Maybe the Croak Hunter you wouldn't see, but the Scouts you'd see. Witch Doctor another point down. Hutchuck. Yeah, probably not, but he's a little bit cheaper. The Nis has gone down by a point. Maximus has gone down by a point, and has also gives Pharaoh's Slaughterhouses Unyielding, which is kind of nice. Warsh and Brine, who is basically fucking every minions list.
Ninja Pig was being taken every place he could,
and he's cheaper. Why? He didn't need to be cheaper, but
why has he gone up a point of strength?
Because of primal.
They were never using primal. I have never seen anyone put primal on Roshan on freaking Brine. Why?
But
it's only rage. There is no excuse for this bullshit.
But I bet the minions players are very happy. So he's got cheaper and he's got.
If Melvin's no longer tempting to play Roshan Brine in Secret Masters, Wormwood can Hellmouth him forward for some extra bullshit.
Yeah. And he goes fucking far anyway, so interesting. Wrong Eye Snapshot's gone down a point. I'd see him occasionally, but
he's always hard to justify.
Yeah. And then a bunch of the other abilities, I think
3-point Thralg is sexy.
Yeah,
Thralg's almost half the price it was. That is sexy.
Yeah, I think Thralgs are underrated and I've got some nice plays out there. And a lot of the more Unity stuff, you'd see, doesn't really see much. So the Valkyries have stayed as they are. Not surprised. You see Valkyries.
I would be horrified if they got a buff. Yeah. I mean, Valkyries are so good.
Yeah. But yeah, I think generally lots of little tweaks here and there. Rather than
slaughterhouses are very interesting at 7 points. From 9 to 7 is from 9 to 7 is quite a significant drop.
Yeah, with unyielding as well, right? So you take them with you stick Maximus with them. You find someone else to give them an armor buff, and you've got very, very cheap fucking idiots to throw in front of you that actually you actually have to put like a significant effort to get out of your way. While the rest of the minions bullshit that's going to actually kill you sneaks up behind.
Agreed. So yeah, I could see that doing a good job.
Yeah,
that's solid.
So yeah, I think minions look pretty good. I think I'd be happy as a minions player. You've got a load of your solos have gone down in cost. A lot of the infantry that you'd never see has gone down. So maybe we'll start to actually see. Your brigands have gone down by 3 points and gained advanced deployment.
So what we're not seeing here is a lot of the nerfs, like Boomhowler 3.
Yeah.
A lot. Is Scythe listed over here?
Scythe's not. Yeah. So Scythe has gone down. Gone down by one rat, and obviously it's got then rate of fire. 4,
it's got the multiplier changed to rate of fire 3. But basically all the Riot Quest models were, or most of them, were minions. So, and that is quite a big nerf that hits the
So basically
that has hit
the super solos and obviously the archons that you'd see in all over minions lists. But points wise, you'll probably end up still cheaper. You'll probably end up with some extra points left over.
Yeah.
And when you've got Throlgs for only like 3 points, those points add up to some nice tech pieces quite quickly, I imagine.
So I mean, my thinking is that they're not quite as strong as they were because a lot of the rebalancing really has been inside minions.
Yeah.
But I think there's been enough interesting stuff that's been opened up here that minions have no right to complain.
Yeah. No, that seems fair.
It's a little bit like the Legion one,
Yeah,
yes, some two got fucked over, but
they've had to pay a bit of a price, but got some nice things out of it. And I think the last thing really is to whiz through the theme force changes that we haven't mentioned. So
don't think there's anything we've actually neglected.
There's not much big stuff. Storm of the North Patrols gains the scout models they can take.
Okay, yeah.
Not a big thing. Devourer's Host can't take Wolf Rider Champions as record options, but that's in line with the whole can't take 7 points.
Yeah. No one ever took them anyway.
Yeah. Obviously, we've discussed Secret Masters being able to take Wormwood. Great.
Gets me every time.
The Wild Hunt gets Loki and Getrix. That's one of the other big
that's nice,
buffs for Circle that we didn't talk about.
I mean, they both always belonged there, frankly.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, granted, Ghetto's a Thorn, but, he's a werewolf as well. He belongs there.
Yeah. And I think the only other one that's really interesting is the Blind Water Congregation rule. So Gateman Posse don't have their boxes changed from 5 to 8. They've just got 8 all the time on their card now. So Gateman, just as a blank thing, are now 8 boxes. So obviously they don't need that rule anymore because they're just all 8.
But that opens them up for non-minion players to actually use Posse again.
Hey, look, just occasionally with them in Oracles.
It's another one for Kruger and Secret Masters. There's more tech.
God damn him! God damn Circle. So,
I mean, I don't see him using them, but hey.
But Merry Christmas, all you Circle players out there. Merry Christmas. I hope you're happy. Fucking better be. I don't think. One of my local Circle players was actually like, "Oh, I'm not sure about all this stuff." I'm like,
read it more carefully. I'm on a South African WhatsApp group now, and the kind of, the Circle player du jour there is like, really? You think Circle did well? Like, God damn, I honestly have to explain this.
Have you read the document? If you haven't, watch our video about it. No, so yeah, I think.
So I've got a couple of interesting quick fire questions to round off now.
Yeah. Yep.
So for everyone, so we'll just kind of go round robin. So and now we're talking both mercs and minions. Both Warmachine and Hordes.
Yeah.
What of this update? What was the most surprising nerf? What did you not expect?
Oh, the surprising nerf.
I mean, no one knew about the Beth 2 nerf until the day it dropped.
Yeah, but we all expected her to get hit in the head.
Yeah, we expected her to get some sort of punishment. Big Night, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. I don't know, what nerf was I not expecting?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of tricky, right? Because we saw a list of nerfs like a week before.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying necessarily today, like over this whole period.
The whole period.
So, like,
okay,
over the month. They announced what they wanted. What did you not expect to happen?
I was not expecting the Death Archon to be as light. Does that count?
Fair enough. Yeah, that's fair.
So my surprise was that the Death Archon didn't get shat on completely. So
yeah, fair enough. We expected a nuke from orbit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, the Theramite Archons nerf.
Oh yeah.
Ordered that because that was a straight up buff.
Yeah, that was absolutely blindsided me of what? Like it was like a increase in cost for this Archon, and they'll get this reduction increase in this one, and then just basically take all the shit you've just scalped off the top of these other Archons and put it onto the Theramite. I don't know if you noticed as well, the Morrowind Archon didn't get the reduction.
So really?
Didn't get the point increase.
So we were expecting a point increase for the Morrowind Archon, and it didn't get it. Which is I think as one of the more defensive Archons that's like further down the power sort of creep list.
Agreed.
I think it's fine. I don't think every Archon had to like be shot in the knee. So fair.
Yeah.
So there you go.
For me, the most surprising, and obviously this we knew about like 4 weeks ago, but for me, still the most surprising nerf was the Texas Raiders. When they tell me they want to get infantry back on the table, and you make them less resilient and do nothing else for them. Yeah, that caught me off guard. That was a surprise.
The whole blast immunity, blast resistance change. When you pair it with the desire to have infantry back, is a bit of an odd move.
That caught me off guard.
It's like one step forward, 2 steps back, kind of.
Exactly. So, flipping that around, which buff surprised you the most?
Corsair Woodman.
Corsair Woodman.
That's a fair. That's fair. That's a good one. Yeah.
I've been joking about them getting backstabbed for years. What if Corsair Woodman got backstabbed?
I mean, it's almost on the level of a Black Ivan meme, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like, whoa. It's like, when hell freezes over. When Corsair Woodman get backstabbed, and they have it. It's, it's strong. Like, I was doing some mental math, and you're running with Fiora 3 in the Hermit, and you've got power 14 backstabs on Corsair Woodman.
Yeah, no, it's really strong.
Yeah.
And no one saw it coming.
No.
My one is just Kador.
Just Kador.
like Kador were in a really strong position. Kador and Manoth were both in really strong positions. I'm surprised they've come out so well out of this. I thought they might have had things reined in a little bit more.
I mean, Manoth were always in a position where they've got so few competitive lists. I'm not too surprised they got some help. Kador just got absolute Christmas.
Yeah, I think for one model, my big takeaway is Kalissa. I think she has absolutely.
Yeah.
Kalissa and Vyros too, with the changes around what he'd take. But Kalissa individually, I think, is rocketed like in her power. So that's really cool.
So I'm in a similar ballpark to you as to where I'm looking. The one that caught me completely off guard was the Griffin buff.
the fleet. For Griffin and Moros.
Why?
Yeah.
Just so much why. I didn't see that coming, and I can re-examine all the evidence like coming up to it, and I still have no idea how I would have seen that coming. That just completely caught me off guard.
Interesting choices. Retribution got some really, really funky upgrades, which is cool.
So what was your most welcome buff?
Probably the changes to Man of War.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I wouldn't have pegged that up.
It's I do love the look of a Man of War army, and it just, you put it on the table, and you'd be like, I'm kind of like a unit short of what I want, but now you have enough points to make another unit. Like I made one earlier on, and it's got 4 full units of Man of War in it. Like,
wow!
And with extra points, that's I didn't put down Rex. I couldn't be asked to work out the Rex, but I had like everything I wanted without before Rex. And with like Strakov 2 and Behemoth and a Berserker in it, like that is oof.
Yeah.
It's good to have another.
That's really cool. That's great.
Me. What's my most? What was your wording again, Evan? What's my most
welcome buff?
Welcome buff. So, as a Convergence and a Grimkin player, it's a bit hard, right? I think I'm playing the two factions that have been most overlooked.
True.
So, I'm grasping, right? Let's go with like the point adjustments in. The Prime Maxim going down some points. I'd like to put a Prime Maxim on the table.
Wow, you're scraping. This was not a good cycle for you.
No, it wasn't though, right? No. I think probably my actual best additions are the Void Archon not being completely fucked over. So
that qualifies a buff.
Yeah, so it actually works as a. It works to go and kill things and bounce. Either that, or the child and Old Witch getting a slight adjustment in the pot towards the positive. But I've got I do have to like fucking scrape a little bit to find. I don't mind. So I should say this right. So I play in these factions by choice. I love how they look, how they're a little bit different. I love the fact that I'm playing them for an aesthetic choice as well as like a resource choice as well, right? So they're both limited factions, so I need to have basically less like shelf space, so got more room to do other things on. But like, I'm fine. I think both factions could have had more favourable changes and more impactful changes. But overall, even though my factions aren't like coming out of this like shitting flowers and stuff, I still think that the update as a whole is really positive. So I don't have to be the one that comes out of it holding the trophy, saying Happy Christmas.
No, absolutely. So oddly enough, my most welcome buff, even though I've got a lot of the Christmas factions, is Witchwood. I think it changes the play style of Grimkin. I'm really excited by that one.
I need to get some Witchwoods. I don't actually have any. So like the list I made today that has 2 of them, I'm like, do I just go and get like a shrub out of the garden?
I am so excited by Witchwood. So that's my most welcome. A close second is the Primal change, because that shit needed to go.
Yeah. I think if I was a Legion player, I'd be like all in, super happy on Thags 1, And if I was Matt and I was a K-Door / Menos player, I'd be like...
I just don't like the Thagros model. It's like it keeps me away from playing Thagros.
The painter one's quite nice, but I'd totally remove the paintbrush. I'd just put it.
I don't like Ogren. It's just a... it's a blocker.
Basically,
I don't like Ogren.
If I was you, Per, as a Legion player, I'd be like, my happiest thing is seeing how cool Thags 1 now is. Like that's a huge buff. And if I was Matt, I'd be like, is it Malakov who's got the discombobulate?
Yeah, Malakov.
I'd be like Malakov and Thyra.
Sorry, I'm neglecting a big one, of course, which is just Wormwood and Secret Masters.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah. So on a similar vein, what was your least welcome buff? What did you see on another faction getting buffed? It's like, made you just fucking groan.
Wormwood in Secret Masters. You just said it. You just answered your own question before you even asked it.
Well, that one was quick.
Yeah.
We just dealt with Secret Masters, and now you've got to deal with Wormwood and Cruiser.
Yeah, as if life isn't a pain in the arse enough dealing with Circle.
You know what? I'm gonna double up with the same thing. It's painful on the wrong end.
Yeah.
So diving into the salt of yesteryear, then, what was your most welcome nerf?
Death Archons.
Yeah, I think this is also a resounding. Everyone.
So I'm not quite there, right? But not. I think it's a deserved nerf. I think it's fine, but I don't think it's my most welcome nerf. I think my most welcome one is the Falseer change. I think Falseer was broken beyond Death Archons. Yeah. Like if a caster just charges 17 inches across the table and kills your Gargantuan in 2 or 3 hits if she rolls really badly.
It is obnoxious, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's really obnoxious.
Yeah. The reason I'd put Death Archons above that is because of how many factions were turning up with double Death Archons.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
And it was just it
was just dominating the meta so much. And I think up there with the Falseer would have been better you could make an argument for.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. She needed one.
My favourite nerf though, Windstorm. Even though I've got a Windstorm caster. Yeah.
That's interesting.
I think that changes. Okay. I think that changes more the field rather than a caster, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, the rest of these are kind of just going round in circles there. I think that was a nice, entertaining try around.
But
very cool.
But yeah, I think that's been a successful night. I think Warmachine have had a bit more highs and lows, and I think Hordes have had a bit more of a gradient where they've had a couple of really good choices, and then it's kind of sloped down till you reach Grimkin at the bottom.
Yes,
which will be interesting to see, and obviously we know this is a huge huge undertaking. It's gonna shake up the meta so much. There's people deleting all the lists on War Room and starting again.
Yeah.
There's going to be an awful lot of experimentation. It's going to be really cool. It's going to be really it's a really good spot for the game and to be playing it and to be experimenting and list building. And
it's nice to be building lists and experimenting again with just no idea what's going to be the top.
Yeah.
We've obviously got starting points, but there's starting points.
Yeah. So all really cool things. I'm really happy. Even though my factions aren't particularly winners in the change, I think the game is, and I play the game and I love the game. So I basically get a win out of it, which is really cool.
Exactly.
And hopefully a lot of people, definitely how the internet seems to have been receiving it is really positive, overwhelmingly so. There doesn't seem to be a big negative turn, which is nice. And then
I've never seen a community so happily embrace a round of nerfs that was announced.
Yes, such a big chunk.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've ever seen that in any community.
Yeah.
But game-wide nerfs announced, everyone cheers.
Yeah.
I think it speaks quite well for our community that Warmachine players just want a better game. That's it.
Yeah, which is really cool.
And we're prepared to swallow a nerf for it.
Yeah. And then, what's next? I think so. That's pretty much us done for the night. But I think me and Evan are gonna be jumping on somewhere else on the weekend to talk about our preferred factions. So it's so we'll be on Full Tilt on Sunday. I don't know if that's when it's going to go to air, so we'll leave it at that. But we can. I'll share the content when it goes live. That'd be cool. And they're basically like a bunch of the Americans talking about how the factions are rolling out of this, which is cool. And then next Friday, Faye's going to come on and join us to have a talk through basically the whole update process, and we can talk about like choices, what we think, and but basically we could tell her the sort of things we've said over the last 24 hours where we've said we think we've missed this, or what was the reason behind this, and what's next.
I think I'd like to know a bit more about process and what they're thinking. You know, obviously we've got opinions, they've got opinions. Clearly her opinion counts for more than ours because it gets written down and we follow it. But I don't want to. We're going to try not to kind of get into the weeds of, debating this rule or that rule too much. I'd much rather, we get this rare opportunity
ride this positive wave a little longer.
Yeah. Oh, nothing to do with positivity. I just want to. I just want to be able to, hear more about the thought process that goes into it than debate which rules are better or worse.
Yeah. No.
Where's my Tristan Durant buff?
Where is my entire Crix faction buff?
Yeah, the coming later next year maybe.
At some point we'll open the salt mines up fully through Crix.
Yeah, we can see it coming. I think it's gonna be.
We can get slagged off on the Crix forums again.
I think it was more that we shook it up a little bit and got people trying to think. So fair play to for bouncing from it. But yeah, so thanks for joining us. Thanks Matt for coming in and chops into us again. It's been nice to see your curly face, and and obviously Evan, thanks for being along with me as usual. And if you enjoyed listening to us ramble on for over 4 hours, like 4.5 hours about both sides of the game and the whole update, then feel free to show your appreciation by licking Mark Zuckerberg and Twitter, Twitch. do the things, right? Hit the bells, subscribe, follow. It all like helps me like validate. I
want to see photos of you licking Mark Zuckerberg. Come on, show your loyalty.
Yeah. Don't get arrested on our behalf though. So I don't know how you get away with licking him without being arrested, but there's got to be a way. Find a way. Wargamers are resourceful things. Find a way to lick Mark Zuckerberg without being arrested, and then you can come on the show and talk to us about it. Awesome.
There we go.
And we'll leave you that. So so next week we'll be talking to Faye about the update, and I imagine probably talking a little bit about the crazy shit we've been throwing together and put on the table. Quickly for Big Night, it's live now. We're live on Twitch and on Facebook, and then there'll be a podcast version that I will put together probably tonight before I go to bed, and then I'll get the copy on YouTube up tomorrow at some point. So don't have to wait for long. You can watch it back on Twitch on Facebook. But there'll be a HD version on YouTube tomorrow, and just an audio version on podcasts. So it'll be on like on the podcast app on iPhone, on iTunes, Spotify. The update. The update is out in the water now, so everyone can see it. You can check out our page, and the Privacy of Press is the full link. But it hits War Room. It
goes live on War Room
on updating on Monday, I think. Yeah.
25th.
Yeah, so Monday you'll see it, and if in the meantime you don't want to be sat in front of your War Room app, counting fingers for extra points missing and gained. Most conflict chamber has mostly now been updated with the new points, so check that out as well. And so thanks for the team over there for putting together basically a really nice army building app that's supported us for so fucking long. So cool. So yeah. So thanks very much, everyone. Thanks, Lance, for being along for the ride. And I'm gonna go and find some glue and build my fucking slaughterhouse. Good night. Good night.
Good night, all. Very cool.